All right, here we go. This is the 100th show, all right? So let's be on point. Let's not be turds. All right. What's the greatest opening theme music? Bom, 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 bom.
Not that.
Bom, bom, bom,
That's not it. Try it again.
What is it? Dun,
that History of the World?
Dun. Yeah. What is it? What's the hitch? Come up with it. Let me hear it.
Why does Darth Vader come to mind?
No, it's the
It's
bum 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 bum. Oh no, what was the one
I don't recognize
greatest
that.
sports where the agony to defeat?
There's the whoop. There it is.
What's the
song.
name of
Remember that? Remember
Bom, bom,
NBC's?
bom, bom.
Yeah.
What is that?
The Olympics. It's the Olympics thing.
Can you sing the whoop? There it is song?
No, not for the 100th show. That sucks ass.
No, can you just sing it?
Whoop! There it is. I can't even get. Whoop! There it is.
Like a programmable monkey.
Whoop! There it. You gotta just press the buttons.
Hey,
flip
what
the
was
switch.
that? What's that song on Jock Jams? That created Jock Jams.
You don't do this to me because you know
Well, like We Are
that's
the
completely
Champions?
blacked out in my mind.
That's right. All right,
Remember you
Wizard.
did that
Oh,
to
we
me
had that
before.
conversation.
The timeout.
Remember?
God
He had no
bless.
idea what Jock Jams was.
I had no idea. All right. What is the
Yeah,
old...
and then I think I
No.
told you to go learn.
You did, and I did.
For our 100th show, we talk about it. Remember we said that, Wizard? Didn't we say that, Wizard?
Good
No.
point.
That's not accurate. I know that's not accurate.
Good point.
What is the greatest entry theme music? Dun,
Let's
dun,
get
dun,
ready
dun.
to-
Yeah. You want to do that?
That's Buffer, right?
No, that's older Buffer, not Bruce. His
Brother
is-
Buffer.
Yeah. Let's get ready.
Yeah, because the other one is It's Time.
Yeah, it's
That
time.
fires me up, man.
Oh,
when he
dude,
does
I
that.
said-
God,
I think I like
man.
that one better.
It's time.
And people around the
Electric.
world. Yeah, you knew there was
Electric.
a fight on. It was awesome.
All right.
It's got to be the Rocky dun 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 dun. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Eye of the Tiger.
Let's do that one.
I mean,
Yep.
What was the question?
What do I start out with? What do I open
What's the
with?
best opening
Yeah,
music?
Yeah.
The good one.
That good? Does everybody think like that? You don't count. You don't get that off your pig. Come on. Unless you got
that was
something.
mean and
Yeah,
cruel.
You
what
have
do you got
something
over there?
great? Rocky?
Yeah.
Sean,
This
What-
is your moment.
what do we... Rocky, what works? Dun, 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 dun. Huh? I don't even know what that fucking song is. Why are you doing that
All right,
to me?
I'll pull it up, man. I'll find it.
Just go with the dun 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 dun
Yeah,
dun
yeah.
dun dun.
All right, here
I
we
mean,
go.
it is.
Here we go. That's our generation. We talk about movies. It's Rocky. All right, here we go. Ready?
Team Never Quit. Team Never Quit. Team Never Quit Radio.
Dun 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 dun. Brother, where are you? Dun
I'm on the next one. You screwed all up. Dun, dun. I'm on the low vocal. Hey,
Holy!
remember I told you about the Joes in Philly?
Yeah.
The cops, when they take us around
Yeah.
on the tour, man, over to where the Rocky statue. Philadelphia is awesome,
It's
man.
a great city. City of brotherly love.
You literally walk
We're-
up to that statue and hear that song going in your head.
Oh, how can you walk anywhere in
They
Philly
should
not
post
to
those
hear this?
Rocky statues in every state. It's kind of like a motivational thing. At the Capitol.
Like at the state line. Welcome to Missouri.
Yeah,
Dun,
there
dun, dun,
too.
dun, dun, dun. Welcome to Washington.
there
Dun,
too,
dun, 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 dun.
Oh.
Thank you for visiting Montana. Dun, 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 dun.
If Mojo ever becomes governor of Texas, I'm gonna. Yeah, well, we'll talk about that.
We'll put the
State
Rockies.
line.
He's not going to do that. He'll put like what? Sam Houston statue.
Yeah, right.
There is a Sam Houston statue. It's the biggest statue. What's up?
I know. That's
Okay.
why I wanted to talk about it, right?
Bearcat.
Oh, what? Well, what would Sam Houston's fight song be?
Oh man, dude, he had some of that Indian warrior in it.
Yeah.
man. So he had.
It'd be like,
have you ever heard of that Indian war joint? Yeah. On the command. Those,
Dude, I've always wanted to go to a powwow, man. But before we talk
Your
about
brain
that,
cells are having a powwow.
dude, that hurts
No,
my
maybe
feelings.
they should have a powwow. Moving on.
All right. Welcome to the Team Never Quit podcast. This is our 100th show. Bum, 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 bum.
Unbelievable.
100, dude. 100.
That's something.
What do you think about that, Apples?
I still remember standing down by the barn talking about even, we were setting this up for the first time.
Yeah.
But
Like,
when you came over, I hadn't seen you in forever.
it's like 2 years or so,
Right.
yeah.
And then you came up here, and I didn't see you for about a day and a half, 2 days. I was amazed at what you did. It's pretty cool because I hadn't seen you forever, but I see you hauling tables in and
You're like,
large
what?
boxes. I was waiting for the bed to come in. And I was like, what's
What?
up, Rud?
Well, I had to be as stealthy as possible in order to kidnap your media room.
Right.
You
Did a
know.
good job. Well, getting past the boss lady.
That was the problem. And you know, she walks in now and we've got all the soundproofing. We've got, you
We
know,
started
all,
nailing
It was a
crap to the wall.
slow yet deliberate takeover.
and then now we got this.
No, because in the beginning we'd break it down.
Right.
And then
After
we
I cleaned it up.
accidentally left it up once.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Do you remember? I remember the first one, man.
Diane
I mean, are you
right?
kidding me? No. Well, that was our first ever interview was Diane, right?
Yep.
Diana Nyad.
Thank you, Diane.
Yeah,
for doing
thank
that,
you for
kicking
doing
this off.
That was the first one. And man, I remember being like, dude, Marcus has done 4 gazillion interviews on the other side of the mic. What's he going to be? And it was like, holy cow. It was like, you'd been doing it for 1,000 years, man. And it was just like, bam. And right then is when I knew, dude, it was going to work.
Man, I'm glad you thought that because that's not what was going on in my head. Typical T guy, right?
You would look, we'd finish, you'd be like, how was that? I'd be like, dude, that was awesome, man.
That was the big question because in the beginning, I was physically not here.
You
I
were-
was at work. So
and we
I would
kinda
be
wish we could go
constantly
back
on
to that.
Skype conversations,
And
setting
we kinda,
equipment up. And
we kind of wish we
all
could
that.
go back to that.
oh, do you?
Yeah.
Watch this.
Jeremy.
No, don't you?
Now you don't even exist. Clang.
Your mouth is writing checks to your ass cake. Gosh.
Oh, nice.
And then when the wizard did show up the first day, he cut his hand off with my spear.
Oh God, his Leonidas throw.
That's how you work your way in here. You guys, you hear that? You got to spill blood. If you
Yeah.
wanna stick around. I'm not worried about him.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
he's already-
We've got
You're good,
Sean's
right, Sean?
film crew with us today, which we want to say thanks to Sean Ryan and his team. We love you guys. Thank you so much for being here with us on this 100th show. It's awesome. All right, Wizard, you came up with a great idea. We're going to do word association with all of our guests, all right?
The first thing that comes to mind.
First thing that comes to mind,
All right, here we go. Starting with, we have Jesse James,
Oh, American Badass.
Tate Fletcher,
Oh,
Resilient.
Druggy. Yeah, man. Remember he came out of that and the old
His
lady?
story when
It
he,
was the old lady
right.
that flipped him around.
that old lady said that turned his life around.
Turned his life. I love you, Tate, man. You're cosmic philosopher, bud. Yeah.
That look.
Oh, dude,
Right.
epic. The beard,
The henchman.
hat. Oh,
The evil henchman.
that's a better.
Like
Let's
if I
say
ever get in this, there's a few guys. If I ever get in a pinch, I would definitely call. You know the ones we.
Yeah.
Tate,
Tate,
and Tiny.
yeah.
and
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Yeah.
On the
guys that
outside,
looks like
it'd be
they could
Tate.
hurt you, right?
yeah.
How about Alan West?
Patriot.
Oh, Patriot, yeah.
Yeah, Patriot.
About the Gov?
What a
What
burger.
about-
Yeah.
I can't go there, but what a burger.
Yeah.
That was my favorite.
Me too.
It was,
he was at Whataburger.
It was
during the
at
interview.
Whataburger eating his burger with us, dude, on the phone. That's awesome. Thank you, Gov.
Mr. Secretary of Energy.
Yeah, I'm sorry, bro.
Congratulations
yeah,
on that.
Mr. Secretary of Energy.
Still serving the country.
Right? One
He's in
call
charge of
away.
Area 51.
Dude,
How cool
you
is that?
said
Here we go.
you said we could at least get a picture,
Yes.
bro.
Yeah.
At
Like,
least
when
picture.
we
Men
show
in
up
Black?
there, we walk in, like, hey, how you doing? I was like, I want to go under the basement. Thank you. Well, we have that. Ben, no.
No,
under
we
the
know where
basement.
we want to go shake hands
calling that
with
buddy.
Ack.
Dave Grossman.
Oh, intense. That dude was intense.
And
Remember?
he's the one that
He's the one that
warped my mind back
He
into
scrubbed your mind, didn't he? Because you had to get cleared by
He's the reason
him.
I keep going back.
Thanks a lot, Dave.
Turn me into a warrior.
Dude, he's badass.
Mental warrior.
Dude, I reached out recently for our buddy who's just graduated from Masters in Leadership. You went through training with him. He's getting out. And I'd reached out to Dave a while back saying, hey, man, do you have any advice? He wants to get it. Our buddy wants to do a doctorate in something involved with killing and violence. And man, he just wrote me back, and he wrote this really cool email. And man, he was good. I liked him.
How about Mark Wahlberg?
Oh, dude.
Marcus Luttrell.
Yep.
I almost said, when you said Mark
that.
Wahlberg, like Departed.
Yeah, right?
Great.
Yeah.
Wahlberg, man, actually, he's a true patriot. And what he does in his kind of the way he shifted in how he makes his films, like reenacting moments from American bravery, and patriotism. So
I dig
he
it.
portrays that on top of being a great family man, and everybody takes care. He still runs around with the same crew. I go on for day. Where am I going here?
Yeah.
We're going to be on all
Rabbit
day.
hole. Yeah, go.
How about Sir Robert Young Pelton?
Oh, Sir Robert.
Sir Robert.
Sir Robert. Dude,
That answered
I'm
that.
so
Robert.
glad, Wizard, you got him, man, because he was one of the most, here you go, world's most interesting man.
He is.
Hands down.
Yep.
Hands
That's
down.
true. He was in a.
Another league.
Moving on to Dom Rosso.
Oh,
Damn right.
honor. Honor. First thing that pops in my head is just honor. You know? I mean, the guy that wakes up every day, lost all his brothers at an extortion, all of them, and he lives every day for them. That's honorable.
How about Diana Nyad?
Oh, I loved her.
That's probably why she always is stuck in that first position as examples of who we had on our show, because she was our first interview. Is that why? It's like, who we had on your show? Diana Nyad.
No, because her
Every time you say
never
now,
quit.
Lady of the Lake. I don't know why that. I know she swam in the ocean.
Very
but
interesting.
I don't know why. Weird.
No, because it's cool, because it's mythical. And the fact that she was able to conduct one of the hardest swims that exists in the world, swimming from Cuba to Florida at 64 years
Yeah,
old.
the age is incredible.
It took her 30 years to do that. So hard.
Laura Logan.
Oh, that's one of my favorites.
That's one of the most intimate, I think, interviews we've ever had.
Yeah, the moment where you two were talking about taking that last breath, and I'm telling you that she's powerful.
Fighter.
Yeah, fighter.
Survivor,
Yeah,
right?
survivor. Yeah.
Survivor.
Great statement there, Marcus.
Justin Legg.
Oh, come on,
I ran out of
dude.
words for these people. What do you say
Just
about that guy?
one more
God
step.
dang, man.
One
Yeah.
more step. One more step. Anybody that gets blood cancer, then gets 2 new lungs, and still fighting, and is a Navy SEAL officer, best officers I've ever worked around or taught my whole life. Man, the epitome of never quit right there.
That documentary Discovery did to his class.
234.
Where he's falling asleep and he's punching himself in the face so he'll stay awake. That's the kind of guy you do.
That's him.
And to have that, the only thing I can think of, because I almost drowned so many times, is the way most of his what was happening to him is that he lived in the drowning moment of that entire time.
Yep.
And when he said that first breath. Like coming out of the water the first time, but feeling that cool, crisp hospital air, that clean air.
Changed his life.
Changed mine.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, I think about that all the time.
That's cool.
Especially even the whole time I'm talking to him, that's all I'm thinking. I'm like, God, man, I'm just hear
Hard.
you.
How about when we talked to Dean Karnassus?
Oh,
Run,
drunk.
Run.
The fact that the guy
He took off drunk.
ran.
There's a way to
20
discover your
miles.
purpose.
I can't even run sober.
Oh, that's funny.
And that
Maybe I should have tried running drunk. Maybe
it would have helped.
Maybe.
Well,
Probably
you
would.
certainly wasn't a lack of effort, bro.
No, that's
You-
not the problem.
you were out during the week.
Whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's
We were
probably-
talking to Tough Hedeman.
Oh my
I saw
God!
I talked to him the other day. I saw him the other day too,
Did
man.
ya?
He's doing great. He has that boy with him,
Did he?
Yeah. He's doing good.
Michael Jordan. That's what I remember. He's the Michael Jordan of bull riding.
His name's tough.
Yeah, tough.
man.
Thank you for correcting that. He's just tough.
It's
That's
perfect.
tough.
Tough is tough.
We'd be remiss if we didn't mention Goggins.
Goggins.
He's way past us now. I don't even know if we can get him back on the show.
I don't think we can. I mean, he's on Joe Rogan now. He's on he's on everybody. Yeah, I don't think we could get him back
Peter
on.
Berg.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that was definitely interesting.
He was
Peter
awesome.
Berg,
that was definitely interesting.
Brotherhood. I mean, he's done so much for our community and the way he cares about team guys, man.
I remember Worker. Because remember, he said, I did every job. I was a grip. I mopped the floors. I delivered bagels. He did it all. You know? Aspen Extreme, baby.
Love you, brother.
Yeah, right?
Shocker. Great White Hype.
Yeah.
I had him sing that to me when the first time when I moved in.
Really?
When I moved in, the guitar was in there. I was like, okay, I gotta get this out of the way, right? Lay it on
me. You know what's coming. How about Pat McNamara?
Oh, that's what'd you call me that one time? Something crack cocaine.
Radioactive cocaine.
Yeah, if I'm radioactive cocaine, he's nuclear cocaine. That's Pat, man. That dude is off the charts, man. But he's a savant too. Yeah. He's a bird watcher. He likes to, step into a Slim Jim. I mean, you never saw the video with him.
Man, how about Tim Kennedy?
Oh,
Rambo.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Rambo. Hard to kill.
Yeah, because if he could step into the octagon with sticks, he would.
He totally would. I mean, he'd do the knife fight. Anything that has to do with testing his ability to stay alive. Who's that?
Captain Charlie Plum.
Oh, the ultimate never quit.
I mean,
the ultimate.
That attitude, going through all that.
2,103 days.
I right after that show, after everything, that's when I was like complete peace deal. Like, okay, I know it was. You can be like that. Good job, man.
Yeah,
those guys
good
are
job,
great,
Charlie. Right?
God, the massive gulf between the horrors he experienced and his perpetual attitude of like positivity and
the perpetual positivity, because he understands how to take that pain that he endured and flip it into the most positive, faithful, driven man ever, dude. Love Charlie.
Incredible.
What else you got?
Laird Hamilton.
Oh,
the wave tamer.
On that, dude.
Oh, dude, he's like this, dude, on the thing, man.
Carrying that rock underwater, man.
Oh, intense.
Aquaman.
Yeah, Aquaman, the real Aquaman.
You remember how I was so surprised by Andre Agassi's.
Oh, bro,
he was so philosophical.
Dude, great, yeah.
Right?
No. And he was open about it, and he wanted to get it. You had said, though, he was like that.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
He's great. I love Andre, man. I butt dial him all the time.
yeah, me too. God.
Well, you probably don't carry your phone in your ass. Like I sit on a lawnmower all day like I do.
And he's like, Marcus, can I help you?
He's like, there was a, voicemail. It was like 10 minutes long. Just,
all right, give me a couple more.
Going right to left, opposite flank. Remember when we sat down with Brogan Wall?
Oh, dude.
Yeah, of course.
Our listener.
Talked about her last night.
Yeah, our listener Colin, man. I mean, she was unbelievable. I mean, she has the suicide disease,
trigeminal neuralgia.
Right? I mean, that lady is one tough, never quit lady.
Check in.
Oh, yeah.
Right in. I was check how she's doing.
Yeah, my husband John is actually going to attend the LSF retreat.
That's
cool.
awesome.
Coming up here in the near future.
That's awesome.
Lance Armstrong.
Bro, do you know how much shit we took for that?
We had a hard time deciding if we were going to do that, but
that was not easy.
I'm glad we did it.
Me too, because
living his never quit story right now.
Every day, right? Every day he wakes up with 100 million people hating him. And he has to justify to his kids why he did what he did every single day of his life, and he has to make up for it.
Yellow bracelet on that wrist that lives strong. Never.
Oh, man, I dug it, man. We took a lot of flack for it, but you know what, man? Everybody's got a story, and everybody, when you can have people that have, and that's why listeners come, right, gents? That's why we have the listeners we do. And if this is your first time listen on our 100th show, stand by for one of the most powerful shows you'll ever hear on any podcast
We are about
ever.
to deliver.
We are about to deliver.
We're going to have to take some heat for helping people. That's all right.
Yeah, it happens. But you know what? it's important to tell people's stories. Every story deserves its time, right? And you can learn something from and that's why the listeners come. That's why almost 6 million people, probably 6 million plus people, come to this show, download it so they can find those pearls of wisdom, so they can hear these stories that somehow, some way will trigger that spark in them so they too can learn the never quit mindset. Now, if you want to know more about why us three started this thing and why we're doing it, please visit We three? That was way bad, right? Wasn't it? We three? We three I?
Us three.
Us three. What are they saying? Los Three Amigos.
Three.
Los Three Amigos.
I'm Dusty Bottoms. I'm Ned Niederlander.
Ned Niederlander.
And I'm...
What was the other one, dude? Oh, those are so good.
Ned Niederlander.
We got to
Dusty
get...
Bottoms.
We gotta
Rainy
get,
Day? Not Rainy Day.
We got to get Steve Martin on.
Lucky Day. Lucky Day was his name.
Who was Steve Martin's character? Lucky Day?
Lucky Day.
I'll be Lucky Day. Can you be Ned? I think he's Ned.
Ned Niederlander.
Yeah,
Niederlander.
Ned Niederlander.
I've been shot already.
I would say you have a plethora. All right.
Guapo.
El Guapo. Anyways, welcome to the... Did I already say that? I did. TNQPodcast.com is where you can go. And if you've got a kick-ass story, if you've got an amazing never quit story, or someone in your family or a friend of yours or someone you served with or somebody you knew growing up has a never quit story, please go to the write-in page. Join our community by sharing this story. We have pages and pages of these beautiful stories. Become a part of our team. And while you're there, check out some swag, some swag, some swag. We've got great Team Never Quit podcast t-shirts, other paraphernalia. Man, you will love it. Check it out. Buy it. Did I say paraphernalia?
You did.
That's probably.
We'll just leave it at that.
I'll just leave it at
We can go to the website and find out what the hell that means.
It is legal now, right? No, never mind. All right. You can also follow us on social media. Marcus at Marcus Luttrell. I'm at Team Frog Logic. Wizard is at the underscore wizard underscore TNQ, or is it
It's
just
related to that, or it could be more like the Wizard TNQ.
All right, just search the Wizard TNQ, and our podcast page is at TNQ Podcast. All right, man, do we have a doozy? And I gotta tell you, gents, this is a big deal for me because this is one of the dudes that helped me get through Hell Week. No shit, there I was. This is one of the guys that was in my boat crew. I've known him 22 years, and so for me, what he did and how he participated with all those phenomenal people that were a part of the Bin Laden raid, all those people, the thousands, the tens of thousands of people that got us there, and he just happened to be lucky enough to be in the stack at the right time, the right place. It's a real honor and a privilege for him being here. And what else is super important for me is the fact that, Marcus, this is the first time you guys have ever done anything together. And as much a profound respect that I have for you and our attachment by knowing each other and me being an SQT instructor with you and us starting our relationship back there, and then the link I have through Rob, it really is just, it feels really, really a proud moment for me to have you guys next to each other and to be able to fire some questions at you today, buddy.
With small fraternity we're in, it's funny how we're all connected in some way through some school or deployment, whatnot. So I'll be interested in hearing I'm sure a lot of people will. They know the Bin Laden story, the other stories.
All the other stuff, man.
From Buds Up, right?
Yeah. Awesome.
Fun.
Well, Wizard, would you do me a favor and introduce Rob for us?
Yeah, I mean, he's almost one of those guys that doesn't need introduction, but Rob O'Neill, best known these days as the man who killed Osama bin Laden.
So cool.
He joined the Navy, I believe it was in 95 or somewhere right around there. He did 2 pumps at Team 2 before he went over to Dev Group. He did a total of 16 years in the Navy, got out as a senior chief. Now, during these years, he was fortunate, and that's how we look at it, fortunate enough to be part of some of the most known and as well as many, many other. I think he did
hundreds
around
of
400.
unknown. Over 400.
Or at least that's the number that's out there, is around 400 other missions. But he was involved in at least the recovery and search aspect of Operation Red Wings. He was involved in the Maersk, Alabama hijacking, the rescue of Captain Phillips off that, which is very well known. There's a movie made about that. And obviously Operation Neptune's Spear, where we went and got Osama bin Laden.
Just real fast, man. That's the cool thing. There are guys in our community who have been on all of those.
All of them.
I mean, it's almost like walking past a guy who was in World War II, Korea, Vietnam.
It's just like that.
Mm-hmm.
Read down some of his awards again, would you?
He's been decorated 52 times. I mean, including 2 Silver Stars, 4 bronze medals with V, Joint Service Commendation Medal, Presidential Unit Citations. Now that he's out, he does a lot of public speaking, but I know he has a nonprofit that is a big deal to him. It's called Your Grateful Nation. I'm just going to read how they title themselves. It's a nonprofit organization committed to transitioning special operations veterans into their next successful career. We cultivate employment opportunities for soft veterans, guiding them into a world from the world they know into a world that is unknown to them, being the private sector. The other thing is I think about a year ago, he came out with a book. It's called The Operator Firing the Shots That Killed Osama bin Laden and My Years as a Navy SEAL Team Warrior.
And you know what? He's funny as hell, too. I can't wait to get him on.
He's a really interesting. He's a storyteller.
Dude, you should have seen.
His storyteller.
Let me tell you what. In Buds, and how he was the guy, because here was this 18-year-old, 19-year-old kid from Butte, Montana, pasty as pace can be, and he smiled through everything. As my tired old ass, I dropped out of college, was going on, I'm miserable, all that. He's smiling through every single one, man. Epic. Well, let's get him on. What do you say?
Absolutely.
All right, Marcus, here we go. Dun, 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 dun. Marcus, I am telling you, brother, you have seen me go off. You have seen me hit new levels of complete histrionics in ways never before. But today it comes from the heart, because not only do we have somebody,
as opposed to being drug-induced.
But it's not drug-induced. I've been clean for days. But I'm telling you, today it means the world to me, because this one is special. Because this guy was there in the beginning with me, pulling my sorry ass through first phase, pulling my sorry ass through Hell Week. And I love the guy as much as I love my own family, my own brother. I'm telling you, Marcus, we got a big show, buddy.
I know. You hear stories about this guy everywhere we go, and from you, I mean, you hear stories, all I hear about is before the one we're probably going to hear about.
Exactly. Where it
going through
all
buzz with somebody in the boat cruise, it changes things.
It changes everything. It gives you perspective. Now, maybe not for you, Wizard, because you went through when it was easy. But back when we went through, back in the day when Buds was hard, right? When you had to carry 2 boats during Hell Week on your head, when the temperature gauge had broke at the Buds quarterdeck,
and gravity was inverted.
When gravity was in, thank you for that one.
And it was snowing in San Diego.
And it was snowing.
When I went through, each guy had to carry a boat.
And there was no Christmas.
There was no Christmas. Master Chief Chalker had a direct phone line to God to change the weather whenever he wanted. That's when we went through. And that's...
I can't imagine.
I wouldn't have made it.
I can't imagine. I wouldn't have made it. I'll just say that right now.
Well, let's stop with that, and let's pivot, and let's bring this brother on. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, Rob O'Neill.
Thank you so much. And it's funny because Marcus leaned over and he goes, it took me a while to get used to this shit when we first started doing it. I was like, nothing surprises me because, you were there day one of Buds for me. You'd already been there
Couple
Like
years.
2.5 years.
Couple years.
But when I got there, I was like, no,
He's one of those seasoned vets.
That was a low blow.
Back in the day, he was telling, back when we went through Buds, 2 of us graduated. They made us fight it out. Like that's how.
And the loser had to go back to day 1, week 1.
No, that is funny though, dude. Because we were just talking about this before we started recording.
Yeah.
Like it's been over 22 years.
22 years.
And it just kind of a lot's gone on since then. We had a loudmouth from South Florida and a fat kid from Montana, and in between then and now, kind of a lot's gone down.
There, 1 or 2 things has happened, huh,
Yeah,
gents?
yeah.
I mean, when you think about literally from the magnitude of those days when we were all kids, right? When we were really kind of idealistic about what this whole thing meant, you can't even begin to conceptualize what you're actually going to go through. Because none of us could have, well, I mean, the war was already going on when you came in, right, Wizard?
Right,
and so
right.
it was a different perspective. But for us, it was just, there was nothing. And so when I remember prior to, it was like, all right, you go to your team, you're going to do a bunch of fun fid. And
Yeah, I wanted to go to Team 2 because the J-sets were in Europe.
yeah, right.
And we might get to Bosnia and hopefully get hit by a sniper. I mean, that's all there really was going on. There was nothing there.
I'll never forget when I think it was Team 3 did a VBSS takedown. Remember that spread
Huge.
through the.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I
Huge.
mean, it was like that was huge.
Well-
Now, at that first point, I don't want to ever do another one ever again as long as I live.
Dude, Johnny Sotelo tells a story about cutting through the glass for 16 hours. And he said that was the op, was cutting through the glass. I was like, no way, no thanks.
Hanging from the side down. Somebody re-enlisted right after they did it. Too. I saw the video of it.
Yeah. Well, anyways,
Hey,
Rob, go
Just on
for
that,
it.
man. You talking about the 20 years going by and a lot's happened, man. And all the pictures that we have of the boys and on deployments. You want to just there's one picture that you can look at, man. That'll just take you all the way back, and that's our grad pic.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
You ever go into the command and pull it up? Or if you have it at the house, pull it out and take a peek at that one. Now your platoon. The
Your graduation.
and it's, I mean, that day, because the way you look on that day and how.
Oh, yeah. There's one of
Because it was
few of
Bud's
us on there.
graduation.
Yeah.
Remember? And then you went to STT. It wasn't the whole pipeline.
It was hard then.
Yeah.
You don't show up at a team with a trident.
No.
You show up at the team with a positive attitude.
Yeah, shave, had a haircut.
dude.
I was a team 4 for the first group.
Your mouth shut.
Gosh.
I was a team 4 for the first group that actually came through with their tridents to check in. Because, when SEAL Team 2 switched to Team 4, we all switched for some weird reason.
Yeah.
And I actually felt bad for those dudes because it wasn't their call. They just have to be the first one. So we actually, every platoon would get bird cages, take their tridents off, put them in the bird cage. Like, you don't get to wear these until you re-earn them.
Exactly.
Which is the way, and the pipeline's, it's better now, let's be honest.
Well,
Well, they'd come in
dude.
and the birds would be gone and we'd stick them in the ceiling in the skipper's office.
Well, I mean, I was a product of how jacked up it was, man. Not all, because of 18 Delta. Like, I graduated Buds after 3 years and had to go to Team 5.
Winter Hell Week 4 times.
Right?
The looped pipeline.
Yeah. No, that's
was
just
it? The loop pipeline?
the genetic weakness pipeline, right?
Or you just seeing how hard you are.
No, but you guys
No.
had to do the 18 Delta stuff, and then you come to the team after. That's almost a year.
Oh, bro.
So the guys you graduated with already have the tridents. They're damn near ready to deploy.
And then at one, no fun one,
Yeah.
you still had to do your performance review board. And even though you could nail all your stuff, you go up and you go in a goat locker.
Come on, Chiefs board. Yeah.
Dude. And I'm sitting there. I've got all these dudes sitting there, and they start talking about why I dropped out of college, that I was a quitter. And then why did it take me so long to get through Buds, dude? Why? Because I was a quitter. Next thing I know, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I didn't quit. I'm here. Just please give me. And I remember,
For the love of God.
So I'm in
For the love of God.
dude. My first platoon, because of 18 Delta, there were guys that had graduated 213, 212. So 5 classes after me already had a platoon and their trident. So like 3 months into the workup, my chief goes into the Master Chief's office like, hey, Master Chief, can Rutherford have his bird now? And the dude was like, oh, I forgot to do that? Yeah. Go ahead. Go give
that
it to him.
Part, yeah.
Dude, and that's was one of the reasons they changed it to where guys get it coming out of SQT.
Yeah, well, that makes sense because back then it was just kind of team guys thrown together like, hey, it's STT, let's go to the range today. Now it's definitely structured. Well, I was reading about it. I was online today, and I'm reading about the cold weather stuff they're doing up in Anchorage, and they said they got the guys in the water for a certain amount of minutes, and they get them out, and the first thing you do is you build a tent, and then you re-warm yourself, and I'm like, I have no idea. I'd be the dead guy in the water. Like, re-warm myself. All right.
How do you do that?
I got shotgunned out after Bud's to 18 Delta. Try this one. I was the SDV pipeline. So then I had to go to Mark 16 and then come back for because after airborne school, right? Then 18 Delta. After I graduated 18 Delta, went to SDV school. My chief picked me up.
And didn't you go through jump school as an officer?
Yeah. I guess we can talk about that now, right?
You can. You totally can.
Yeah, I was as an officer and during airborne school. That was only
not to bring up old
right?
shit, but I'm pretty sure that's a crime.
It is, yeah, absolutely.
Statute limitations
it's gotta be good by now.
They're gone.
Every time we get on here, brother, I make sure there's no way I'm ever going into politics. I actually,
That's why you got your brother, bro.
I got my brother. He's the Manchurian candidate. I was just what was left. So, I literally had to stick around after SDV school. 9/11 pops down. I had my chief sent me to comm school. Then I had to go back to Florida for 18 Delta, and by that time, or for Mark 16.
Yeah.
And by that time, my brother was through the first SQT class, fixing to get his Trident, and I didn't have mine. My guys that graduated, Bud's been on deployment and come back.
Yeah.
I was literally the last one, and then I had that Chiefs board.
Oh my God!
I still had to do that when I got to the team, 3.5 years is how long it took me to get my bird. I wouldn't touch one. You remember how it was?
No, absolutely not.
That was like the scariest thing in the world.
It's hard to look at him before you have him.
Oh!
I had a dude. I was in team 2, and I had a guy. He was fairly new. I didn't know him, but and he goes, "Hey, we were putting our uniforms on. Do you have a Trident I can borrow?" I'm like, I don't know what I'm being set up for. But absolutely not. You can search everything. I don't have one in there.
Just another test.
Is this a gear inspection? Because I've got all my stuff right here.
I don't have a Trident in there.
Let me see your uniforms, O'Neill.
When I got pinned, I was like on a Thursday or something. My brother was graduating that Friday.
Yeah.
So I had to fly from Hawaii to San Diego, and I got my blood wings. Then my LPO picked me up, took me down to drink, threw me in the water, and it popped off. And I would not leave until it was my Trident.
You found it.
I
got to find it.
Yeah, I was in the
Did you
harbor.
have everybody looking for it?
Everybody.
Everybody.
I was like, get down there. So I showed up the next day, and my brother graduated. Buds, they still graduated, and then they went to SQT. Then they got popped before they went to the team.
Yeah.
And same thing, bird cages when he got there and whatnot. But
dude,
yeah, it was a long,
when you got
time.
your bird, how many dudes were there to give it to you?
Well, like most team guys, we had the great idea to have the pinning ceremony at the bar. So I think I had female technicians hitting me in the game.
Hey, Bob, old Bob with the walker, come in here and punch this guy.
Hit him with the walker. Hit him with all 4 legs of the walker. Then my father was there. I made him do it a couple times, and then of course I'm telling him he's a pussy. Do it again.
Yeah.
What an idiot. It's coming off, chunks of flesh coming off this thing.
Dude, the prongs breaking off in your thing.
A really shitty piercing. You get this gold thing.
So how many? The question is,
it's been up by the time.
It's been out. So I how many times is there ever a full team at muster? Right? Never. Right? Ever. Everybody's off doing something. So guess what happens for me?
Yeah, full team.
Full team is at the freaking thing, dude. I got 45 hits in my chest, Jesus. Man. I was bruised, like my whole shoulder was bruised, everything. And then when I became an SQT instructor, I had to hide it in the back room with guys. And as a medical, they would be lined out the door because we couldn't do it openly in front of anybody. Yeah.
Can't haze. Never been able to haze technically. But see, if it was up to me, if I could redo it being a team 2, and I think I got pinned in it was winter, I would have done it on a Tuesday because no matter what, we would do the 2-mile ocean swim. And in Virginia Beach in February, that shit just sucks. Right. And it's amazing because I don't care how many platoons are in town, there's no one at muster because they're all at medical or they're at dental. But the trick I used to love is the guy taking a shit and in his rubber, and then it comes running out as the bus is leaving. Oh, did I miss it? Did I miss it? You were so full of it.
I didn't never consider it hazing. I thought it was a rite of passage. I like an honor to do it, man.
It wasn't the team guys that didn't
People
want
who
it.
label it hazing are the ones that aren't getting to do it.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Well, did you have a kangaroo court?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, you had a
Every
court.
day was a kangaroo.
Kangaroo
I remember
court?
when they called that the first time. I didn't even know what was going
Yeah,
on.
what are we doing? What kangaroo?
What?
happened?
No, just come in this way.
Australia?
Come in here.
We're going
The
Australia.
Australia pack? I'm on there.
Sweet.
'Cause I heard Australia was fun, man. I'm down.
Did you have one? Did you have a court?
My memory's bad.
Okay, that's good. Good answer. Well, I'll tell that later. All right. Well, Rob.
Yep.
Before we get into the
I know
interview,
exactly what's coming. I'm ready.
are you sure?
Yep.
Now, this is beyond. I mean, I know you guys used to do a hardcore Mad Minute when you would snatch HVTs.
I have a mouse like a steel trap.
Bro, I'm going to blow that trap wide open
it,
right
I'm
now.
ready.
You have never faced tougher questions than the ones we're about ready to throw at you right now.
I'm ready.
I can see it. All right, Marcus. First question of the Mad Minute. Fire away.
All right, brother. Favorite superhero?
Captain America.
Mojos. Yeah, we got
Good
America
one.
right over
That
there.
one right
Right
there.
there.
Why?
For sure.
The shield.
Really?
Got a shield. It's all about. Look, I'll stab you, but I got the shield. I can use. I got to defend people.
Huh.
But I'll
The
hit you with
shield. The shield's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And the upgrades on that thing have no limit.
I'm not big into superhero movies, but I mean, I just figured Captain America's pretty good. I got no problems with Superman.
They've done a real good job in the movies of upping his strength and what he
Yeah,
can do with that.
yeah.
Remember the 70s or the 80s Captain America? He was in Lycra and he'd come out of his van on that motorcycle and had that.
Believe it or not.
That's the greatest American
That's the
hero.
greatest
walking.
American hero. He could. He's like that dude. He's like that dude when you're camping who can almost play the guitar. Like he could sort of fly, but it was more he just fell off of really high shit.
Oh, fudge. Oh, God.
Crashed a long way away.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. How far did you get onto the scene of the crash?
Wizard, fire away.
All right, would you rather be hogtied and thrown into a closet for 30 minutes with 5 water moccasins, or B, a chimpanzee with a hand grenade and a hyperactive sense of curiosity?
Oh man, I have to go with the water moccasins. I'm just hoping for the best because that chimpanzee he'll bite your face off without the grenade and shove the grenade down your neck.
I'm right
And if he's
with you on
curious,
that.
I mean, now I'm getting fucked.
Either way, that thing
I am
is
right
going to
with
mess
on
you
that.
up.
Well, you're
Most
done.
people
You're-
say snakes.
Yeah.
Most of them go for the snakes or they're afraid of snakes, but
Yeah, I mean, because snakes, reptiles don't really have conscience, and an orangutan,
Curious.
you curious, yeah.
as we said, he's
Curious
quite
George,
curious.
Curious George wasn't a snake. I mean, not that he was bad.
Curious George?
What was he? He was a monkey.
But
Yeah,
nobody
but-
ever gave him a hand grenade.
True.
That chimp should have been locked up. He was a menace. I'm telling you.
Quite.
Quite a minute. All right, Mark. Oh, it's my turn.
Yep.
All right, Rob.
Yes.
Who would win in a death cage match? Chuck Norris or Bruce Lee?
Bruce Lee.
Not even close?
Not even close. I think they sparred once, and Bruce Lee knocked the shit out of him.
God, I think there's an interview with Chuck.
Yeah, I
talking
think there
about
was.
it.
There
About-
was.
Really? That he
Yeah.
said?
Bruce is kind of the real deal, man.
Yeah, he was like the real deal.
Real deal.
And not that Chuck's not. I mean, I still don't want to fight Chuck
I should have
Norris.
said
I'm
it
just
like
saying
that either. Love you,
Bruce
Chuck.
Lee.
We love you,
Next
Chuck.
headline, Marcus Luttrell calls Chuck.
Hey, yeah.
I'm not even judging
That was
that.
a headline.
Damn it.
O'Neal defends Chuck Norris.
It used to be.
Against slander by Marcus Luttrell.
Yeah.
Yeah, he lives, down the road too.
No, we've been trying to get him. It used
Hey,
to,
you might have got him now.
I used to ask.
Yeah, we'll get him all
about-
right. Dude, I got those Chuck Norris things.
Oh, those are funny.
Oh,
those are
Hands
funny.
down the best.
Oh, they are. Those
Best
those
memes
those
out there,
Yeah,
dude.
they are.
All right,
Did
fire
you see
away.
Chuck Norris? They had Chuck Norris the tank when the Donkey Punch. They name all the Abrams. The gun has the name, and Chuck Norris was one of them. He went to Iraq and took
great
pictures.
name.
with
No,
I missed Chuck Norris when he came to Fallujah, and that broke my heart. I almost didn't make it through the rest of the deployment.
Yeah,
think
you
he got-
almost
That's a
quit
tough one.
because you
That's a
missed
tough
Chuck
one.
Norris.
I think he
went
got
home.
hit by an IED as well too. And-
No,
Yeah, it got busted up and they put it back online. If I'm not mistaken, I heard that.
Chuck got hit or the tank got
tank.
hit. Oh, I was gonna say,
Can't- what-
did anything hurt Chuck?
No, of course not.
Yeah.
This is the only man that could slam a revolving door. That's my favorite one, dude. I love that one so much.
All right, send it,
All right,
Marcus.
bro, the last thing you did in public and you were glad and no one was looking.
Oh, because the last thing I did in public that someone was looking got on TMZ, so I wasn't happy about that.
Good job, by the way. That's how you know, right?
Yeah, right.
That's how you know.
I think the last thing I did in public that did I got in trouble for that people saw I was getting drunk on a plane? The last thing I did that didn't, I got drunk on a plane.
It seems to be a pattern there.
Well, no, it's just funny because I was like, the millions of miles I've flown in the last 6 years, I'm amazed that's the first time someone just said, can you step off the plane?
Yeah, right? Dude, I remember when I was contracting, dude, I'd be annihilated before I even got on the plane.
Yeah, I had to make some life changes. One of is you don't need a pregame in the airport bar before you fly somewhere. There's like no reason for that. Like you're by yourself. Who are you trying to impress? Like the fact that you can piss without going to the bathroom?
Because we are really good at that.
Yeah, I got this.
I picked that up in buds, man.
Oh my God. That's epic, dude.
All right, this is a slightly more serious question.
Yes.
If you could raise one person from the dead and bring them back to walk in the modern world,
Ooh.
who would you bring back and why?
Muhammad, because I got to know what the fuck's going through his head.
Great answer.
God, you're on fire
No,
today.
I think about this stuff.
No, I'm serious.
Before I
Man,
got
he didn't everyone even pause on that one, dude.
before I got remarried, I was dating a girl and I said something similar to her. And if you get anyone dead or alive have a drink with or lunch with, and I think she said something like Beyonce, and I'm like, okay, that's fine, but you could have picked Jesus.
That's
Literally.
You could have said Winston Churchill. You could have
Anybody.
I said Muhammad because I gotta there's a bunch of different shit out there. I want to know what's going on here.
I think you got a legitimate claim at that one, too, by the way.
Plus, I mean, let's be honest, Muhammad's had a lot to do with changes in my life, so I want to just maybe we should have some fried chicken. I don't know.
Brilliant.
I'm being
I've actually studied that religion
yeah, I have to.
quite a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, we had to, right? Just as much as growing up studying Christianity. I mean, and plus I got rescued and saved by them. So
seriously.
Bro, there's some
I had to
con.
learn my respect, and I learned to do everything I had to do to exist in their world.
What freaked me out was I was the intel guy in my platoon that went right at the beginning, and I read this book called The Bear Trap, and it was about the Mujahideen and how they defeated them and all this. And I got into this very deep conflict in my mind going, wait a minute, didn't we just spend, 12 years supplying them, training them, getting them prepared, teaching them? I mean, SF was all over the book everywhere, and agency and all that.
Agency, yeah.
Heavy money. And now all of a sudden we're going to go fight them?
Yeah. I dealt with guys in certain parts of eastern Afghanistan with chiefs of base who were working on the Pakistan side against the Russians, and all of a sudden he's on the Afghanistan side working against the Paks. How it's like same guy, same place, just different side of the border.
What a trip, dude! What a trip!
It's literally always a chess match up there.
It's the ever-evolving enigma of global strategic war.
Well,
right?
and it's funny too when you try to explain that place to people back here. You tell them what's happening, and they think you're lying.
Totally.
It's like, well, when are they going to get democracy? I'm like, well, as soon as these people figure how old they are. No, and it's not a joke.
No, dude.
Like, they don't know what time is.
Bro, I use that all the time. I say, do you know what the average age of the oldest guy in Afghanistan is? Basically what their life expectancy. They're like, no. And I'm like, 51 years old. What's ours? 79. That's a significant gap in evolution right there. So
that's a lot of the problems is going why it's happening, because the younger generations are wanting for the change.
For sure. And I think we're going to see a lot of that.
That's what's going to hopefully end a lot of this.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, that was a rabbit hole we went down. All right, are you ready? What was your first car ever?
Buick Skylark, sky blue, 1984. His name was Zeus.
I know exactly what that car looks like.
I know. No, get a load of this too. I loved it because that's the first car I got. We had a little party. My older brother Tom decided to take it for a bear run. He showed up a couple hours later with no beer and no car. And I'm like, what happened? He goes, well, I crashed it. And I said, well, what? I said, what'd the cops say? And he goes, I don't know. After I crashed, it kind of turned into a track meet.
So your brother took your car
And
to
wrecked
go
it.
get and wrecked it and left it.
Well,
A crash and run.
Yes, well, allegedly.
He
Allegedly.
didn't leave it. He just wanted to remember where he started. How fast he ran.
Oh my
It's a country
God.
thing. I know
Buick
exactly what it
Skylark
is.
named
Buick
Zeus.
Skylark. Zeus. Why
Was it
Zeus?
4 doors?
I just thought it was a cool name for a god of a car. And if you're like a sophomore in high school, having a Buick
Car named
Skylark.
Zeus? That's
Zeus.
pretty awesome.
Yeah.
That's pretty
But
awesome.
was it 2 or 4 door?
It was a 4-door.
Yeah, that's heavy.
Nice. The old Lark.
Oh, yeah.
Lark.
Oh, yeah. The old Lark.
Fire away, Marcus.
Oh, hell, man. I'm sorry. I'm having such a good time. I don't even read these damn questions.
Last round.
I've been on the road a lot, too. All right, brother. If you could play out any movie character in real life, who would it be?
Let's see. Oh, that's a good one.
It's a great question.
I think I'd be Maverick in Top Gun.
Dude. Yeah. I mean, again, you can pick anybody.
Well, okay.
You can pick anybody.
Let me think of one of the titles for one of the movies that Ron Jeremy was in. Hang on a second.
The Hedgehog. I ran into him in Hawaii one time.
Oh, dude. They had him on Range 15. He did a cameo, dude.
Oh, that's
And apparently he's as skeezy as he seems he would be. Yeah.
Can't imagine.
Yeah. What about you, Wizard?
What?
What movie? Yeah.
I love Last of the Mohicans, man.
Oh.
That's a way better answer than my answer.
Yeah.
Yours was Ron Jeremy. Well, it was funny because Top Gun obviously is great, and then we were at a bar in Virginia Beach called Hot Tuna, and on Wednesday night like that, and we had pilots and SEALs there. I remember one of the young SEALs was in an argument with one of the pilots, and he goes, "Look, we know damn well there are no Val Kilmers or Tom Cruises in naval aviation. We got so many Charlie Sheens in the teams."
That's a great answer.
That's a good answer.
Oh my God. All right.
True.
You got one more for him, bud?
Hell yeah, I got these all day.
All right.
Good.
Let's see. If you could pick one sidekick to accompany you through life every moment, would you pick? I'm going to give you some choices.
Okay. I had one.
There you go.
Oh, let's
First,
let's
do this one first, and then after.
Okay, yeah.
So A, Chewbacca. B, Walter from The Big Lebowski. George Costanza from Seinfeld. Tonto from The Lone Ranger, or Watson from Sherlock Holmes.
Walter from The Big Lebowski.
Epic
Absolutely.
answer. Thank you.
I want him
Thank you.
But why? I want him yelling
that.
at me why that Pomeranian is always with us. Because it's a fucking show dog with fucking papers.
Dude.
And plus, I want to have a Caucasian everywhere I go, Plus, wear a robe, write a check for milk. I mean, who doesn't want to live that life? Like, they pull out the bowling ball. What the fuck is this? Well, obviously, you're not a golfer.
Oh, fuck.
All right. I don't know. Put me down in there. I'm going to look a little deeper. Let's get my head down that toilet.
When we were on deployment, a winter deployment, like in 2000, late 2011, you always want someone to sneak booze in your care package.
Right.
We had a dude send us a Big Lebowski care package, this huge thing with everything you need to make White Russians, bathrobes, and a copy of the Big Lebowski. And we had, when there was weather, we had Big Lebowski night.
Brilliant.
Did you really?
Awesome, yeah.
That could have been
sitting in a
great.
bee hut, sitting in there in robes and sipping a Caucasian.
My God.
Even though you're not allowed to drink overseas.
Melly won't let me watch that movie anymore because I would fall asleep to it in the cell phone part. That phone ringing, dude. It would wake her up every night.
Every night.
Because I kind of consider myself, I'm half Walter, half dude. It kind of makes me up.
You know what? You're pretty much that with every character.
And what was what we said the other day? It was from Unforgiven, right? Curly Bill.
Oh my God, totally.
Half Curly Bill, half. Anyways. Yeah, I'm not allowed to watch that. Such a great movie, man.
Oh, beyond good.
It is.
Epic.
It is. And it takes a few times to get it.
Oh, you have
every,
to.
First time I
every
saw it, I hated
dude,
it.
every line in that movie was scripted. It wasn't ad-libbed or anything. They have a good documentary on the making of that movie.
Do they? Is it good?
It's
It was
pretty
all
good.
scripted.
Awesome.
Every dude,
guessed some of it.
every line,
Okay,
right?
I didn't know
Yeah.
that. All right, who was your personal first
Oh, I thought you were
selection?
going to say if you could have a sidekick everywhere, I was just going to say Kevin Hart. Just because that.
Really?
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, boy, he'd be funny.
Yeah, he's
Man,
funny. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd want some downtime.
Dude, I was watching him the other
Yeah,
day.
I'd want some
yeah,
downtime.
yeah.
I want to turn that off.
He's
every now and
on
then.
all the time.
All the
But
time.
he's good.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
Talking about
talking
you.
about?
I'm not like that, dude. What are you talking about?
You are on all.
You're on
You
all
don't
the
strike
time,
me as
dude.
downtime.
There's a little downtime.
Yeah, Dave
There's a
Downtime
little.
Rutherford.
There's a little that's my
asleep.
first name in the teams was Downtime. It was actually
You
the
had to deal with.
Fly.
I had to deal with Moosecock. It was crazy.
Of course you did. Of course you had to deal that from the beginning.
The shit up with which we must put.
All right.
What was yours?
First one,
Yeah.
the Fly, Barfly.
Is that in, what was it in Buds?
Rut, just always Rut.
Mine
and
was
Bud.
latrine and Buds by the instructors. I actually put it on my helmet.
Did you latrine?
Yeah, in
That's
second
too easy.
phase. Yeah,
Oh, God.
ride that one. And then, well, my eyes were messed up when I first got in, so a lot of just called me Vector. I didn't even know what the hell that meant. I was like, that sounds cool. Is it
You're
not
like,
cool?
Wait, Vector. That's definitely cool.
Yeah, fall down a mountain, my shit goes straight. I don't have a nickname.
Fall down a mountain, my shit
I
goes
worked my
straight.
ass off to get the Doc nickname, and no one ever called me Doc.
Ever called me Doc.
Ever.
God.
Damn it. I'd be like, hey, what's up? I'm hey, Doc. Like,
No.
Marcus.
Shit. All right. We asked this question pretty much, I do, of all, military folks that come on. If you could be president for one day, pass something into law, and it went into effect immediately, what would you do?
Oh, wow. There's a lot out there. That's okay. That's a stumper right there because there's so much to go with. I would probably pass in a law 2 years minimum military service for everybody.
God bless you.
See,
God bless you.
What we need to do is create like an American humanitarian services for the people who don't want to carry rifles.
That could be it. Maybe not military service, but service.
Yeah.
Right, like you can sign up, you get the uniform, you go through to get the discipline and do all that, and then you go over and help people
Isn't that
in other
called
countries.
a Peace Corps? Peace
Yeah,
Corps?
but if you make it mandatory through federal,
but also if you pull a stress card or try to whine, the drill instructor can punch you in the face. Like there's nothing against that. You're gonna learn. You're gonna fucking learn.
Punches and waterboarding for the snowflakes is what I'm hearing. Is that?
I think everyone should get waterboarded like once a month,
dude. Right?
I was like,
just to keep it real.
We did everything we did to the people that for the enhanced interrogation. They do to make Navy SEALs, and then we do it to each other at the bar
for fun.
Yes. Waterboarded with tequila.
Well, we were listening to the damn STV story today, and I was getting shell shock and PTSD hearing from stories I had nothing to do with.
Exactly.
Sitting in the back of it for 10, 12, whatever hours? No.
That's insanity.
No.
That's waterboarding.
That's torture. That's a stress position, and that's sleep deprivation. That is enhanced
You should have pulled your card, Marcus.
Oh, what else? I couldn't talk to anybody.
No one cared.
There's no comms. Couldn't complain. I couldn't quit. I was out in the middle of the ocean. I couldn't quit. Fuck this. Let me out. Somebody will be by.
Turn on your strobe.
I got a flare. They'll definitely see it. Which end is the night end again?
Here comes
I got about 10 seconds of this shit.
If I can get picked up on a Carnival Cruise Line and go for a 7-dayer.
All right. That is the mad 20 minutes.
I got one question.
You got one more?
Okay, good.
All the stuff that we've over the years been through, what one person have you met that had an impact on you? You're like, wow, that's
was
pretty cool.
Who had an impact on being, because people always ask who's the coolest person you've ever met. One of the coolest interactions I ever had was Tony La Russa. Because
he's at the Sox.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I was talking to him 2 weeks ago. Amazing guy.
I had some security with me. I had Tiny with me. And
is that really security?
But no, this is good. What was funny?
I wouldn't want to get near Tiny. One man army.
I used to protect.
What was funny about this experience though, because I'd exchanged texts and a couple phone calls with Tony, never met him in person, and we're at an outdoor event, and I don't know how, but La Russa got around us, and he's behind us. And he goes, "Hey, Rob," and I turn around. There's Tony La Russa standing there holding this margarita, and he snuck up behind us.
Yeah.
He's been around a while, and I kind of look at Tiny like, the fuck, man, he's behind us. And I go, well, hey, this is my security guard. and La Russa sticks hand out, and he goes, I go, this is my security guard, Brian. He goes, hey, Brian. And Brian goes, everybody calls me Tiny. And La Russa goes, everybody's full of shit. And I was like, that's a pretty quick answer. I mean, because apparently you're in baseball that long, you get some quick wit, and that's just funny.
Dude, he's on point, man.
Yeah.
Man, I work with the Sox, doing some stuff with them, and when he came out, we had some conversations, and man, he was just.
He's good.
He's been around. Yeah. He knows everything.
Yeah, he knows everything.
But yet he's humble.
Oh, he's totally humble. You never guess. Well, he did a thing to me one time when he was with Arizona, and we went to the game, and he's watching the real game, the delay and the iPad. He's taking notes on like every pitch, and he knows everything about everything.
Yep.
And we went out afterwards to get dinner and some drinks, and apparently there's a guy he didn't like up at the bar ordering a drink, and he looked at me and he goes, "Hey man, that's one of the umpires. Can you go say hi? Because we love umps." I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." I walk up, "Excuse me, I recognize you from the game today. Aren't you an umpire?" And he goes, "An umpire? I'm the general manager of the Mariners. And I look back and Tony's just doing this to him, not me. He's like, yeah, see what I got?
Totally. That's awesome,
Yeah,
dude.
so just some like little cool things like that.
That was probably one of the great baseball moments for me too. I got to throw out the first pitch at a game and then sit with him in the stands and watch it.
With Tony?
Yeah.
That's solid.
I did one too, and I first pitch, and he gave me the best advice for first pitch. He said, think about it this way. No one's ever been booed for throwing it over the catcher. Just throw it over him. And you try to throw it over, hits him right in the middle. I'm like, I'll be damned. This guy does know a thing or two.
Yeah, mine was don't just hit the mascot, throw it in the stands. Just don't go short.
Just don't go anywhere except short.
Do not
they don't give a fuck who you are. You will get booed
if you go short. Yeah, it's like some kid with cancer throws it short. Boo! Kid, get off the field! Right? Some old lady missing a leg. Boo! You suck. That's what happens in Philly.
They don't care.
No, Philly.
Hey,
sit down before you fall
right?
down.
Baseball's game of life.
It's game of life.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right. That is the mad 25 minutes, Rob.
That's
Thank
25
you.
minutes.
Yeah, thank you
That's
so
good.
much, brother.
Love it.
All right. The reason why you're ultimately here is more than to just crack us up and go down memory lane. It's because people come to our show because they're struggling. They're looking for some advice on how to overcome the obstacles they're facing, how to be able to stare adversity down and not fold. They need something that we have and the guests that come on, the incredible people, to share with them to make an impact in their life. So, without further ado, Rob, would you please give us your greatest never quit story or stories?
All right, this the one that always pops up and I get asked that quite a bit, and I'm not bringing it up because Marcus is here, and I know he's talked Operation Red Wing to death. But we were in the country when when that happened. I saw some of his guys hours before the Turbine 3-3 went in and got shot down. Mm-hmm. We didn't know what was going on with Marcus and his crew. We just were informed once the helicopter was shot down that and not just us, but everyone here now needs to get in there, but we can't fly right now because we lost a bird, but we got to get up there. And we're getting everyone from RD Rangers, I hate to say infantry Rangers, but Marines, Green Berets, everyone SEALs, and we're walking in there, and we had to walk in pretty much from the furthest place we could drive and go up. Mm-hmm. And just looking at the ground, feeling the heat, and we weren't in the gunfight. We're just trying to get in there, and just the respect for the guys that are fighting it out. We got to get up there and help. And we were awake for a few days looking for him, but when we got up to the top and we there's pictures of us on the internet putting IVs, and I can't imagine what they were going through, just the thirst and all that stuff. I remember.
Let me tell you something. When that squad walked in that village when they found me, they were beat to death.
Yeah,
I mean,
the shit you'd been through.
Those guys.
That's crazy.
Being a medic too. I was like, man, T.O. was taking care of me. I was like, Jesus, man, because they would come check in, and I got to get face to face with most of them, man. And they'd been out. Y'all were out there as long as I was missing. So everything I had to go through in the elements, they did too. And I had a roof on my head.
Not everything, but when we got up there, because we went up, we went back, we did call in air support, close air support from an A-10. That's where actually the saying came in, because we couldn't get across to these guys, but we saw them and we called in an A-10. That's when that famous saying came out, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, except an A-10, because an A-10 will fucking kill you. But when we were about a day and a half into it, right. We're on top of a mountain, and I remember looking at one of the guys saying, this is why training is so hard. This is why there's Hell Week, because if we wanted to quit right now, where the fuck are we going to go? No. We got nothing but here.
That's it.
And that was the one thing I said when I got back for kind of a lessons learned at Hammer. I was like, thank God I went through Hell Week first.
Because you can push yourself through it. And like I said, we didn't go through anything close to what Marcus did, but we were up there and we saw it. And even the step by step, and I don't want to get too emotional with this, but on the way up, we were right on the other side of the village you were in. We're going up, getting ready to go down, and one of my guys sort of sat down. He's like, man, I can't take another step. And I remember saying, that's fine. You just tell Mrs. Luttrell, Marcus's mom, when we get back, that we got this close, but we couldn't get him because you got tired. And he's like, you're right. And I said, do me a favor. You tell me that same shit in about 3 steps, because I don't think I can go anymore.
Right.
And that's just that's just one step in front of the next.
There's a lot of guys when they were telling me, like we were. I said, how many guys you got? And he wouldn't tell me. I was like, 50 or something like that. I was up on it. And he's like, no, not really. I was like, 20? He's like, well, we started with a little bit more than that.
There was some weird shit
11
going
dudes
on.
made it. I was like,
11 dudes?
something like that. I was like, man, I was like, you need to get some more people in here.
Yeah,
you need to get some gunships. And they were telling me, it's okay. He's like, but he's like, we came through the same route you did, and we didn't see anything. I was like, I came through that route, and I didn't see anything. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we're in the hornet's nest here. I mean, we're kind of like in the spot.
Right.
Because every day the Taliban envoy would come in to try and barter for me. I mean, like fresh dudes. They didn't look like they had put out too hard to get to where I was at.
Right.
And there's plenty, they just kept rotating out.
And Rob, were you guys getting contacted every now and then?
No, we sort of got contacted twice. When I was telling you about when we saw them across, they took some pot shots across a valley, and then we call it A-10s, and that was the end of that shit.
Right.
But then some of our snipers did a like an RNS. Was as we're putting IVs and stuff in. A couple of our snipers wanted to take a look, and he'd never killed anybody before. He's like, yeah, I think I saw one of their guys, and he popped his head out and took a shot. And I'm like, then what happened? He goes, he fell the fuck down. He's like, yeah, that's how that whole angle thing works. But I mean, no, but it was more because they were really good at just dispersing. And so they're gone, and they can run up those mountains, and they don't need water. It's weird.
Dude, freakish, right?
Even on the way out, again, explaining to people what it's like over there, how different it is. So we're leaving, and so we have extra shit because now some people drove in. We have trucks. I remember handing a girl 5 years old a bottle of water, thinking, it's 120 degrees out here. She's probably going to want this. That girl dumped the water out so she could play with the plastic.
Totally.
That's what they do.
Yep.
I had no idea how that works.
I learned a lot while I was in that village, especially how they operated. And you kind of wonder, each one of us is packed down with kit and more rounds, and they're moving without an AK, and they never seem to run out of rounds. Kids are running around with those satchels, full of the mags and whatever else they need.
A lot of the buildings you go into, it's like no furniture, no food, no water, a hole in the floor, and they're fine.
And they're good. That's all they need.
I don't understand it. And they've been living like that for thousands of years.
Thousands. And probably will continue to live like that.
I mean, they're thriving in that part of the world, in places that we couldn't live.
Right, totally.
Yeah,
which has whipped them.
Yeah.
Well, and that goes back to some deeper rooted questions about that part of the world and their commitment to never quitting, right? I mean, if you want to talk about cultures that never quit, you got to give it to those cats, man.
They're proud people.
They are.
Look, man, I was helpless in that village. I couldn't walk. They carried me everywhere. I mean, they kept me alive. I was like nothing. It was the truest form of Islam.
For sure.
And it definitely is. That's what makes you question everything.
Yeah.
I mean, you've had experience that I haven't. I can't even imagine. But it's like you've seen it up close, where not only is your life on the line, but you might be getting skinned alive for the next fucking month.
Literally,
it's a different perspective, man. When it's not like we were hanging out at our base. I didn't have any weapons, and I was hurt in medical.
No, it ain't like that.
And the village. No.
You're in there.
I was like, I'm just gonna go hang out in your area just by myself with let everybody else know I'm here.
And I'm all banged up.
Yeah, you guys try and keep me alive. Ready, go.
Right on.
And I mean, and to give Marcus credit again, the story's been told, but like when I said we're walking up to, like, there were dudes from different units that weren't quite ready for that, and like they start handing their bags back, and we're like, no one's carrying it. What are you doing?
Yeah.
And plus, are you gonna walk back down by yourself? What do you?
Totally.
Put the bag down. Take some shit off if you need to. Pounds or ounces, but you can't. We'll be looking for you.
Yeah.
So I mean, and that's my first trip over there.
Right.
And and that is the first time that I really saw what needs to happen, what men are capable of, men and women.
Right.
And
did it change? Did that experience really kind of connect you to a greater possibility within yourself? You know what I mean? That here we have one of our brothers. We just went through this tragedy. He's out there. I'm digging deep. I know I have more.
You know what hit with the it wasn't what what's in me personally, or what it hit this is real.
Yeah,
this is a war now, and because it'd been one thing for me to see it on TV, but not to be here. And I remember seeing the challenge and reply stuff that Mark has written down, and we'd written that shit down, but it wasn't that serious. I'm like, now first of all, when I see him, I don't need him to say shit. I know who he is.
Yeah, right.
But we're using this now, and we got to get up there. So that's the reality of the world is small. And
that's a perfect way to say that, man. It's like all that training. That's the only reason I made it.
For sure. No, you're right. It comes back, right? It triggers that rote mindset that the program beats into us.
I mean, think about that was your first deployment at the unit. So think about when you leave and you go there and you make it and you hear all these things in your first deployment. That's what you have to run it. I imagine that pins in your head like every day is going to be like this. It's going to be what's up, man.
Totally.
I hear the guys that would go over there their first deployment when that's kind of like golden. His first time over there, man, he would say he just got it on and it's like drills that into you. I was so happy to see them guys, man.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine.
So Rob, take us back though, because growing up in Butte, Montana. And I remember when you first told me, and we were in our boat crew together, and you're like, I'm from Butte, Montana. I was like, do they even have water in Butte, Montana?
No, I didn't know how to swim.
Right. He didn't know. And this is legit.
Yeah.
Rob,
you're the first one that can verify this because people think I'm full of shit.
No, it's true. We could not believe it. I'm telling you. We go to the pool on our, I checked him in. We were all, we divvied up. We were in the same boat crew.
Yep, we were the whole time.
I remember, and we had our first pool day where they'd throw all of us in the pool and you just go back and forth.
Yes, I remember that. There was a funny story with that too that I have.
Send it.
Send it. I'm also pasty white from Montana. And so the instructors used to fuck with me. And I had to start lying to him and say, hey, I just got off a submarine for 9 months. That's what this is. And so we had it, and so that we're doing that race back and forth. Then we had
125 guys.
Whatever.
Yeah.
And if you win the length, you're out.
Yeah.
But if you're not, you do it again, then again, then again. And they made me wear a T-shirt for this thing. And I'm like, look, I can barely swim, and now I got a parachute. So I'm going to go ask an instructor if I can at least take it off so I have a fighting chance. And here's where I first realized that team guys are funny. Is the first instructor I got out of the pool to look at was
I love
to back this up, just so everyone understands, is a black guy.
Yeah.
So I said, instructor, look, I can barely swim. I don't have a chance with this T-shirt. Can I take my shirt off, please? And we're out here in the California sun, looks at me, didn't crack a smile, and goes, all right, O'Neill. I got to tell you this, though. I was in your shoes once, and I took my shirt off. You're going to hate yourself. What is he? What? I don't know. I'll just take it off and try to win a race. I don't know what he means.
Oh, my God, dude. But I remember, and I remember when they gave, we were divvying up, swim buddies, and nobody wanted to swim with you, dude.
I wouldn't want to swim with me.
Yeah, and you got, wasn't Monty?
Monty.
Yeah. And Monty, God bless, I love that guy.
Monty pulled me through so many swims.
Dude.
He's a California dude.
He was a California surfer from Half Moon Bay.
Yep.
Badass dude, loved the water, totally cool.
Yeah.
One of my favorite people in the whole world.
Oh, still is, yeah.
Yeah, still. Amazing guy. Yeah. And I remember, dude, we'd be like, Monty, what are you doing, bro?
Why did your swim time suck? You're about to fail out.
And he's like, I'm not changing. He was awesome. And he stuck by it, dude, the whole time, man.
He was awesome. And that was another thing, too, because he could have been swimming.
Oh, bro, sub-70s.
Yeah, easily. And but he stayed with me, and he would guide the whole way and pull me and shit. And
but this is just like the run, though, awesome. The fast swimming. You get done a little early. That's free time with the instructor.
That's one of my favorite Bud stories. Speaking of running, is I used to smoke cigarettes with the Singaporeans behind medical.
You did.
And I came out after a smoke, and I said, hey, Rod, I think I'm going to win this one. Remember we were doing 4-mile time runs, and you said, O'Neill, if you win this race, you can drink for free on me all weekend. And I'm like,
weekend.
And I go, fuck it. They said go, and I sprinted the entire way.
We were like, no.
And when I turned, and we had no shirts on. Here comes this white guy, and I see you're in the front of the pack that I'm about 500 yards in front of. I just hear, yeah, O'Neill.
Dude, I was like,
I ran that sub 24:30 or something.
No, you shattered it, and then an asshole set the bar. So every run after that, we all got beat because we didn't hit O'Neill's time after that. But he drank. We drank well. We drank well that weekend.
So much fun. That's a great story.
Oh my God. All right.
Yeah. Anyway, that's Buds.
So you come from, first let's back, what made you want to join a teams in the first place?
Girl. I was trying to get away from a girl in Butte. I got dumped.
So you picked the hardest military training.
I was playing basketball.
You had a place to hide.
No, well, I tried to join the Marine Corps because everyone they either joined the Army or the Marine Corps from Montana.
Oh, okay.
And the Marine wasn't in the office. The Navy guy was. And the only reason I went into the Navy guy is because I had 2 Marine buddies tell me that the Marine Corps is actually part of the Department of the Navy. It's just the men's department. And so I went in there to ask him if anyone's going to know when he gets back from lunch, it's him. And he said, "Why do you want to be a Marine?" I said, "I want to be a sniper." And he goes, "Oh, you're good. We have snipers in the Navy. You need to become a Navy SEAL first. No big deal." Kind of brushed over that shit. And then, and he said, "And then we'll send you right to sniper school." Like a recruiter has
that pull, right?
I'll put it in your contract, right?
Here it is,
You're
right
going
here.
straight to sniper
Right to
school.
sniper. We'll send you the butts after sniper
There's no
school.
words
Sign
on
this
it.
first.
There will be.
You just volunteer as soon as you get there. You're good.
And then the VHS cassette went in.
Then he
Be
showed me,
someone,
and I'm like, wow,
dude,
this is gonna suck.
be someone special. It changed everything.
Yeah, but the positive attitude again, the thing with the never quit. I'm like, look, okay, I just signed a contract, but let's take it for what it's worth. Now I get a trip to San Diego. I get to try this cool training in the movies, live on the beach for a while. I probably won't make it, but I'll go to a ship, see stories for 4 years, and I'll come back to Maloney's Bar in Butte, Montana, and I'll have stories to tell.
Yeah.
That's it.
That was the
And
hope.
then it was in, the instructors there that you just learn the one meal at a time. I'm never going to ask you to do anything impossible because people do graduate, but it's going to be hard and hard and hard. And just one meal at a time. And then all of a sudden it's walk or it's
Who tells us that? Because that's what I
For us, it was
when I talk about that, I'm like,
yeah, but
I get to chow.
it's a certain instructor that says
Asherman.
it. No
Asherman.
doubt about it.
Hands down.
But he
Yeah.
but I think it gets passed down from every great instructor to every great instructor, and they're still doing that same thing right now. And they're like, I even heard it in the movie Lone Survivor, where you hear an instructor yelling, "You can do anything. Your body can do anything through your mind," and that's exactly what they say. It's the mind is the first thing to go. No one's ever said, "Man, I wasn't going to get through that, but my body carried me." That's bullshit.
Right.
The mind, yes, it's physical, but the mind.
yeah, this is the machine that carries this. Literally, you can take anything, just go.
But hold on a second. But it's not like we were all psychologists. It's not even like we were all super duper smart. We were all just driven kids.
Yes.
In this space without any freaking idea what was ahead of us. When did you start feeling this catalytic thing start to happen?
Well, we finished hell. So I passed the first few swims thanks to Monty. And then, past the runs, past the evolutions, of course, the first day I'm like, well, that's going to be the end of me. But then you start, but then, you start Hell Week. And that's when like the tough know-it-all guys washed out. I'm talking Sunday night. It's like, dude, this is the fun part.
Dude, remember we lost 2 dudes in the first hour, dude. At breakout.
I've been waiting for breakout since I've seen the movies. Let's at least get through this.
Dude.
But then I remember getting through that, and then you do the walk week, but you're doing hydrographic reconnaissance. I remember one instructor. I remember
sucks worse than hell.
No, but I remember the instructor being in front of our class, and he said, "So when you guys get to your platoon, which most of you will now because you made it through Hell Week," I'm like, "What?
What? Wait, what?
Wait, it's always been in the unlikely event." Did you just say
He
that?
slipped up.
Hey, gotcha, bitch.
He said it, boys.
They said it, so it's true.
Let's go to McBee's.
Like bears on me, boys.
Where's the first shot in my trident? I'm in. Why am I not the LPO of this bitch?
No kidding. God, what a
But no,
slip
that's
up.
when it sinks in, and then obviously you go through dive phase, and then some guys do the damn 5.5 nautical mile swim twice.
Twice. That was awesome.
That sucked.
I was so glad. The only good thing that ever came from me getting rolled out of your class was watching you guys do the 5.5 twice.
Like within 4 days.
It was horrible.
Oh, miserable.
Brutal.
But then you get through that, you get through the shitty nights and the dives and the days and the whatevers, and then you get to. And then, you get into some of the cool stuff. I remember seeing my first MP5 with the range of San Diego. And then you're flying to the island. You're like, yay, this is it. This is going to be an awesome 40 days.
Oh, God.
I would have done Hell Week 3 times in a row as opposed to doing the island.
Dude.
Awesome's not the word I'd choose.
Oh, it just sucked.
It was so awesome.
Brutal.
Well, I had a dude that kept fucking up. He was losing his mind. Like he was personal life stuff, and he needed to be rolled, but he's my swim buddy on the island, and on the island, if you screw up, it's every hour on the hour hit the surf.
Yes.
And I'm his swim buddy, so I'm going with him, and I'm getting pissed at this dude. So this happens a lot, and I remember that one of the teams, I don't remember which West Coast team, came out to train, and they had an explosive go low order, and they didn't double it. So you got to wait 72 hours or whatever, so you can go out there and disarm it. So there's 72 hours we can't get wet. which is a godsend.
God.
Well, my swim buddy fucked up again, and I remember the instructor going, all right, you two, you're getting, damn it, well, we can't hit the surf every hour on the hour.
Right.
And I instantly just said, I will hit him with the hose every hour on the hour for 24 hours. I got this. Let me do it.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
dude.
but so then you finish the island, and then it's the last week where you're walking around getting your service record together.
Yeah.
And you got
Bad
your
week,
team
man.
assignment. It's like, holy shit, I'm gonna get to a SEAL
I'm actually
team.
gonna do this.
Now what do I do?
Yeah.
I have to be a SEAL. Fuck.
Yeah.
So there, and then that's it, and then East Coast SEAL Team 2, and
Right.
and then the whole thing was going to be 4 years, but I met the guys. Before you know it, you get your trident, you do a deployment, you come back, you're not a brand new guy.
What'd you guys do for your first deployment?
I did a MARG on the USS Austin.
Oof.
And the Austin was an Austin class ship, meaning it's the first one.
Yeah.
So that's a flat bottom ship. And I am so lucky that it was my first deployment because I didn't know any better.
Yeah.
And so, so we did that and come back, do another one. But then it's like, that's it. I'm not ready to go back home.
Yeah.
I got to stay with these guys.
Right.
So I stayed. And then, you're in that enlistment, 9/11 hits. Like, well, shit, I can't go home to Maloney's now.
Nope.
I got to fight.
Yeah.
And then you go fight. And
Do you
then,
remember where you were when?
Yeah,
on
I
that
was
day?
actually on deployment with Team 2.
Okay.
I was in Germany at Stuttgart at Unit 2.
Unit 2?
Yeah, and we're up in ops, so it's about 2 p.m. when it hit. 'Cause
Yeah.
we were ahead. And sending emails like you do, and then you're like, they said, hey, a small plane just hit the North Tower, and everyone kind of looks up and you're like, that's a big building and that's a huge hole.
Yeah.
This is an issue, and everyone's kind of talking. Second one hits, and everyone's like, did you see that? That
Yeah.
was a second plane, and someone said Al Qaeda. It's like, oh shit,
It's on.
it's on now. No more J sets.
Yep.
We're going somewhere.
Yeah.
That's how. I mean, and that's like that's the blink of an eye.
That and everything changed.
Everything.
I mean, the whole
everything from the trips, the attitude.
Yeah, there wasn't any getting out then.
No.
And they do it right. The way the distance on buds, as opposed to when you join, you come back to your first deployment, you're ready to rock and roll. And it's time to get out. You're like, I'll just re-enlist one more time.
Yeah,
and then
Yep.
that's how it is. And
Yeah.
times are just perfect. So
Yep. No, mine was in the middle of my first platoon. It was like, all right, you can get an extension, or are you going to get out? And I was like, nah, I'm doing another 4 for sure. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it even got real in the training, because then you got the first few guys that go over to Afghanistan. Now they come back and, hey, by the way, that stuff, stand up and pirouette and heel.
None of it
Hey, we're
works.
done.
None of it works.
This is called shoot and scoot, and you keep your fucking head down.
remember how bad that was when you had those E5s coming back, and then the Master Chiefs in training. It was like, sir, that's not how we.
It happened right away,
Like,
away,
that's not how
dude.
we do. You can't do that over there.
No.
Yeah.
You stand up, you're getting hit.
Yeah,
That's it, man.
That's when you saw
remember.
that huge influx of all the head shit. When we were KMB, that sign
Bro.
on Team 3's tent said, never before have so few been led by so many, or whatever it was.
Oh,
So,
yeah, I know.
the other way
I know
around.
this. Yeah. But that's got to be a weird thing and they got to feel bad for the Master Chief.
Absolutely.
Who's been in 25, 26 years, but never seen shit.
Tasted it.
He's never seen shit. Now he's trying to train. It's like, look, I was just there, and this is how it is.
Yeah.
And
And they struggled with that.
oh, they
man.
still do. That's
Oh,
why they
for-
wrote
yeah.
that. That's why they wrote that ethos.
Yep, for sure. Good
That's
point.
why they did it.
Good point. Good point. All right. So as your career's evolving, you go over, you get through, you're at command. Did your perspective start changing as the op tempo picked up? Did you start feeling the effects? Because a lot of guys that we bring on that did a lot of stuff, they talk about starting to hit that period of where, man, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. Or did you just have that front sight focus and we're just going?
I like to think that I had the front side focus and everybody there did, just because all we knew were team guys.
Yeah.
And they were all doing the same shit, and nobody was special. It's like, hey, man, I saw you made headlines last night. He's like, yeah, sweet. You want to hit the gym? Yeah, let's do it. And everyone's kind of doing it. And I mean, it was cool at first too, because when the first deployment in 2005, the very first mission I went on, I've been watching the news that there's going to be suicide bombers around every door. So I'm amped, and and you can't live at that rigidity.
No.
But I'm watching one of my senior dudes there who'd been on Operation Anaconda, Silver Star there, and just gotten the shit with Al Qaeda. And he was just, the way he was moving, so smooth. And I'm like, I just remember thinking, all right, I want to be like him.
Totally.
So I'll just pretend I'm that cool. But then slowly you start to realize, right?
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's exactly right.
Take it till you make it.
And then my next,
So
I
true,
think my
right?
next deployment was into Iraq. I'd never been there. It's like, oh shit, now this one's definitely suicide bombers, but I got to pretend I'm that cool. And just watching the older guys, and then you kind of get used to the shit, and then you get used to the tempo, and you're with your guys. Now you're to the point where you're seeing what the enemy's doing, and you're going to adapt to it. You're going to change your tactics, and it's like the whole thing. Okay, we definitely have rules that we're going to follow, but once we change them to a better rule, we're all going to change that. That's the SOPs.
Right.
The standard operating procedure. We're going to follow that. And then it just became natural. And then it almost gets to the point where the team is so good, you're almost wondering if you're missing it.
Yeah.
Are we fighting someone that's not Al-Qaeda? Because we're destroying these people.
Yeah.
And then it just but then as it goes on, I remember talking to some of the strength coaches over at DevGroup, and they were like, you guys don't notice, but everyone here's changed. You guys are not the same as when you got here.
Well, how could you be?
Yeah.
But you don't recognize it, right?
I didn't
you can't.
recognize it until I got out.
Yeah.
Like, well, when I got out, I was up in D.C. We had some friends come up that were probably still in now, and we're having a beer in D.C. and I was explaining to them this. I'm like, you have a dangerous job. And my buddy Kevin goes, what do you mean it's dangerous? I said, okay, I'll give you an example. Even in training, when's the last time you jumped a bundle? And a bundle, for those who don't know, it's like putting a Coke machine to your chest with a 10-foot tether, pushing it out, and skydiving. That's a bundle. And the bundle's full of extra gear. You got extra comms, extra bullets, extra grenades, whatever. The people can't. And so you're jumping a 500-pound tube, and its job as you free fall is to kill you. Like you're fighting this thing. So
right there on the stick.
Yeah. And then you land that, and you land with that damn thing connected to you. Okay. So
Holy
I said,
shit.
Kevin, when's the last time you jumped a bundle? He said, that's funny you bring it up because it was last week and it was a water jump. So when I left the plane, I started thinking, did I put enough flotation in this thing, or is it going to take me to the bottom of the ocean? I ended up dying in Davy Jones's locker. And I said, that's a dangerous job. That's my point. But they don't understand it.
No.
And then, once I get out and you reflect back, it's like, wow, that's something. But you could sort of see it. And that's, part of the reason that I got out at 16 and a half years is because it's like, you know what? Complacency is going to get me. We just killed bin Laden. Extortion 17 went down. We lost 31 Americans. And then I did one more deployment. It's like, that's it. But yeah, I recognized it eventually.
Well, we just came through the anniversary of that again. And what always fascinates me is how we were at the top of the world, right?
Yeah.
We, in our community in particular, what you guys had done, I just remember feeling so invigorated. I remember I called my buddy who had just finished Green Team, and I called him up and I'm like, hey man, congratulations, what's going on? And everybody's stoked and, great job. And then couple months later, we go through.
I get asked a lot about, because in your naval career, what are your regrets? And I'm not a big believer in regret.
Yeah.
But I said one of my regrets is I went to Robert J. Reeves' house right before he deployed with Gold Team. And he said, he popped open some wine and said, do you want some wine? And I, of all people, said, no, I'm not drinking tonight.
What? Wait, what?
Yes,
Rob?
I know, right?
Rob?
And so he poured himself a glass, and he kind of looked at the table holding red wine, and he said, one of these days, a lot of us are going to die on one of those helicopters.
No.
And my regret is that I didn't have that glass of wine because obviously Rob was on Extortion 17 and he died. And but we went from the top of the top to from planning missions to planning funerals, and it's still hard. I mean,
our generation, man, it's fighting the longest war. We just don't take our one or two casualties, but when it goes bad for us, it goes real bad.
Oh yeah, it does.
And you don't really notice that until you get out the tempo and what you were talking about, and it is something, man. You don't think about it as a dangerous job. It's the life. It's like the life I'm in, and that's what they train us to do. That's what it still is, right?
Well, that's what we do. We go to war and we come back.
Live in our fears.
And what I see, and especially in what I'd like to just pivot a little bit now, because you've mentioned getting out.
Yep.
And and we've talked a lot about transition. Every time we have guys on, we talk about transition, and it's a very challenging time. I mean, for all of us in a certain way. And to go from these extreme highs of deployment, home, deployment, home, deployment, home, now all of a sudden, here you are trying to figure out what the highs and lows are, what it all means, how to fit into this world where nobody has a clue what you're talking about, feeling, or anything. how was it for you?
Well, it was. I was fortunate because I extended. I was supposed to get out in January of 2012, which had been a few months after the Bin Laden raid, but I extended for a full year. So when I got back from my 12th or 13th deployment, I was able to. I had a bunch of leave, terminal leave, and I was able to get paid by the Navy and try to figure out what I'm going to do.
Right.
And I was fortunate to have mentors in places like D.C. and New York that got me in touch with people that made me realize that what I learned in the teams is stress management, problem solving, team, how to work as a team, and loyalty to the mission, not to just my resume. But what I also learned the hard way is that now this is with a lot of special operators, especially, is when you're in. You get a bunch of these bigwigs up in New York that want to take you to dinner, and they talk this, and you're like, "Oh, cool! When I get out, they're going to hire me." But that's not the case. Not the case.
No.
And so, don't And I had
everybody wants to tell you to your face.
Yeah.
Hey, I've got you. I've got you.
Yeah, but they don't.
You call them up. Hey, man.
And I tell you what, you give them what they want for free. You're never going to hear from them again.
Ever.
Yeah. But so there was a hard transition. I was able to get into some certain things, and that's what I started my foundation, Your Grateful Nation.
Yeah.
yourgratefulnation.org, that we do just that. We transition, not just Navy SEALs, but Rangers, Green Berets, a lot of TF-160th pilots, Marines. We're at special operations now because we started small, but like we'll do any veteran we can in certain spots. But that's what we tell these guys that are still in, because I have guys now that would say, well, I can't do anything. I can go into a room and shoot a bunch of people. I'm like, well, and you're very, very good at that. I've seen it. Bang up job, whoever taught you that. But then but they'd rather go to war than fill out a resume.
Yeah.
And they don't know, like, the best thing the Navy says is don't wear your core frame with your suit and make sure your medals match.
That's their separation.
That's it.
Well, and I use this analogy as like, you teach a person to walk 100 miles into the woods, right? And not in the normal woods, into the deep, scary, nasty, horrific woods that want to kill you every step woods. What does that individual have to do? They have to walk 100 miles back out, 100 miles in, 100 miles back out. But there's no 2-year pipeline to teach a person how to come out of that. Mm-hmm. There's nothing. 1 minute you're in the mix, and then next minute you're a freaking civilian.
Yeah.
I was 1 minute I was a Navy SEAL instructor. The next minute I'm living at my parents' house. I'm $10,000 in debt.
Yeah.
That's weird when your ID doesn't work.
But what's unique about this, though, is on the opposite side, a lot of these employers and we're putting these guys in like managerial level, major project type stuff. These CEOs, COOs can't find people with these qualities. They're not teaching them in college. So what we're doing now is making that introduction. Like, these guys couldn't meet them. They couldn't meet them. They put them through like a 9-month mentorship.
Yeah.
Then they hire them, and our guys are like a 98% attrition for getting promoted to a better job.
Right.
Nothing a Navy SEAL can't learn to do.
That's
For
it. That's
sure.
it. And they're like the knot tying thing. They're going to drown before they can't tie the fifth knot type stuff. And that's what these guys do. And they come in there, they learn this, and everything. The way it starts with us at Your Grateful Nation is we ask the vet, where do you want to live? What do you want to do? And then we introduce them to that, and then it works out. And we just put a guy through yesterday.
What was the trigger for you that made you want to start something like
just
this?
The fact that I could keep the lights on, because you got a mortgage, you got kids, child support in my case. You better figure some shit out.
Right.
Marcus actually called me a few months into it when he's like, hey man, Navy's not going to put food on the table. So figure out what you're going to do and be serious about it. And I found a few things that I could do, and then I'm able to help other guys do their stuff. So it's the transition is almost scarier than combat.
Oh my God!
Well, we've all done it. Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy, and but what I love to see now is people finally really understand. Hey, our never quit moments. Although when they hear, in particular, you guys tell your stories, people are like, "Holy shit!" Right? But it's the other stuff. It's what and you say it all the time, right, Marcus? That's what I was trained to do. That was my life. This is what I wanted to do. It wasn't anything. I love doing it. It's now when I can't do it anymore.
Try to explain to Mel. It's not like a trip to Disney World that we're living in. I mean, you leave the house, you go to Disney World, you have that highs and lows and those rides, you come back and it's to a different life, normal, but you still have your ups and downs. And with us, man, we deploy to Disney World and we come back to it. Because we're training to go to Disney World, if you will. And when your life constantly revolves around the one thing. And the problem, it's sea, air, and land specialist, right? So guys are obviously good at the land part because that's where we've been farting around for the last 20 years. If it was a water war or winter, whatever. Mm-hmm. We talked about this, man.
Yeah.
It did. And I was covered from high ground. I mean, coming out, I had a purpose and a plan and some orders.
Yeah.
But 2 years, man, I don't know what it was. It's hard to even put it into words what's going on. It was when they snatch you away from those guys, what it is. You're like,
totally
can't breathe real good. You know, they have a strength that I have as a weakness.
That was, for me, I felt completely alone. And
it's a tough one. Well, even like the skydiving trips, after you're getting done a few jumps, you're at the bar with 20 of your best friends.
Totally.
That's not happening anymore. Just little creature comforts like that,
For sure.
Right.
Yeah, it is.
One of the things, we've talked to a lot of people and we talk about this transition topic, and purpose, finding a new purpose after that transition seems to be the key.
It is a tough one.
Right?
What's the purpose? What are we going after?
Yeah, what's Rob's purpose?
What is your purpose? Are you still working on finding that? Was it difficult?
Well, no. I mean, now the best email I get, hopefully twice a week, is when we transition a vet to a second career, and hearing from the family that it's not a like, hey, I got a job. No disrespect to anyone, like driving the beer truck or whatever. It's like my family has a second career. That's what I want to do. That's what I love doing. Obviously, I do other stuff to to keep the mortgage paid and hopefully get a retirement type thing too. And I get on TV quite a bit too, and that's the reason for that is just to try to tell people the truth, not be a partisan politician, but like, hey, here's what's happening, and here's what I think we should do, and that's.
By the way, I have to let you know, I always got a smile on my face when I see you up there, brother. That's cool. All right, so your purpose now. Have you found one of the things? Right, within the military is everything's so regimented, right? Everything is done, it's lined up for you. You know what's coming. You know everything's scheduled, especially where you were at. It's it's down to the second. Now in your life, and I know you're doing 300 events a year. You're still killing it in terms of your time commitment towards this. Is there a part of you? And I know you recently got married. Congratulations! Yeah, that made me so happy to see that, brother. Do you feel like time is still controlling your life as much, or are you starting to get a hold of that? I think
there is that feeling, because especially getting out of the military, the most powerful thing you can learn is how to say no. And you need to do that because there's a lot of snake oil salesmen out there. Just nope, not doing it. Like people say, you can come down here for this. I'm like, I'm going to pay myself this much to not come, because I'll just sit on my couch. I don't need to be there for that. Right. That, and then the big one too, especially we were talking about today with the social media, the negativity, the way people like to think, and the kind of getting that thing, screwing up. You're going to fall down.
Yep.
Get up. Why did I fail? Look yourself in the mirror and own it. When you screw something up, fix it. And the best advice I give people is get over it.
Fast.
Get over it.
Yeah.
That's it. Try not to do it again.
There are definitely some things we get accustomed to in the teams when there's no cameras around, that when you do in public, they're like, don't do that.
Well, I mean, you guys, you're under the microscope at a level that nobody else has to face. And what's interesting is, in any other circumstance, in any other way, people would say, all right, you messed up, get back in, no worries. But somehow you're held to a different standard. Whereas in the teams, it's part of it. I remember I'd get in trouble, and the one rule is, hey, if you mess up, Roger, bring it in, and your chief or whomever is going to get your back. You're going to get you're going to get a little slapped, but at least it's going to go over. But man, out in the civilian world, and when you're in the public eye, such as you guys are in a significant way, man, this negativity thing just lingers and lingers and lingers. And it's almost that it becomes a never quit moment itself.
Oh, it is. Yeah. I mean, if you have thick skin, fine, but just the best thing you do in a negative moment is just separate yourself from it, and don't give it any air. Like the social media thing, what people will say the nastiest shit just so you can respond, so they can get followers, like weird stuff like that. And a lot of anonymous, just don't even invite it in. Like we were saying today, worst thing you can, if you want to be positive, get off social media for 3 days. See what happens. See what happens.
Dude, there are actual studies of it that it affects your blood pressure. It affects.
Totally. I guarantee
dude, you're
it does.
sleeping. It enhances your digestion.
Everything.
I mean, it is
People
literally
are taking everything so personal.
Oh my God! And
you know what's so funny too? Of all the haters, I've never run into one. Like everyone in the real world, so damn.
That speaks volumes.
Just
way.
respectful.
Never.
never.
I mean, even team guys that disagree with like the book that I had approved by the Pentagon.
Yeah.
I had a team guy come to thing and he said I know I disagree with this and this and this and I said, well, here's what I did, and it was all by the book, and he just told me he didn't agree with it, and he said, but you did it the right way, and
so be it.
And that's it.
Yeah.
I mean,
for me, because and I'm this is a personal thing. I love you like a brother. I've known you we were cracking up our 22 years. It's the same way I feel about Marcus. Is, man, there's so much negativity that we have survived in our lives, right? What sense is it to continue it on in our lives, man?
Well,
we have a second shot at living in a very
I remember having
positive
one of my
way.
first-
The difference is that world that we occupy in the beginning, it was physical pain and manipulation, and that especially taught me, man, that the only thing that can affect me is it would have to be physical, not words.
Right.
We kind of shotgun past that part.
No, yeah. But I mean, too, one of my first bosses at DevGru, he said, when this whole thing's over, we're all going to get out and one of us will be the CEO. We're all going to be millionaires. And what's funny is we could do that.
For sure.
But guys don't want to work together. And it's just too bad because I get a lot further being positive than being negative. And there's just put that bag of bricks down, man.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Rob, but before we get, we wrap this up, let's talk a little bit about your daily routine, right? What are the things that as you're going through and you're doing all the stuff that you're involved in, what is the thing that, that keeps your brain healthy, that keeps your soul healthy? What do you do every day to just stay in that positive frame of mind?
The positive frame of mind comes with getting your heart moving. Do something. It doesn't have to be an hour and a half workout, whatever you can get out and do. But just get the workout going. Write stuff down. Get on the computer and just start.
Are you a big writer? Because Marcus writes,
Well,
I write.
That's how I got a lot of the stuff from my book, The Operator, was because my dad told me, my dad, who's been with me for everything, he said, just keep a journal, write some stuff down every day, because someday you'll write a book. I'm like, Dad, there's no war going on. No one's ever going to want to buy my book. But then I had all this stuff. But again, just go over there and even if you're frustrated, type the message to someone you're mad at, but don't send it.
Yeah.
Just keep it there. And if you're still mad in 24 hours, send it. Maybe it's worth it. But I'm just get out there. And for me, at least, it's amazing how the creative juices start flowing once you start looking at your words and changing what you're saying and using a thesaurus for a better
Is
word.
that how I talk?
I sound like that. But I've written a few op-eds for Fox News. I'm not a writer, but I've written opinion pieces about military stuff and certain holidays, and just getting out there and collaborating with people with just creative ideas, what kind of stuff we can come up with. And then regardless of what people show on their outside, people have struggles, all of us. We all have stuff on the inside that we're not showing. Chances are out there, someone as bad as you think you have it, someone's got it worse. And, it's the whole thing with, when you wake up in the morning, make your bed, and regardless of how bad today was, tomorrow's a fresh start. Yeah. And then it's minute by minute, it's meal to meal. It's just like the thing you do in Buds. But, we all have negative days, but it's like the whole thing is, are you having a bad day or are you just having a bad moment you're milking into a bad day?
Right.
You learn from your mistakes. That's how we learn. We rarely learn from successes. We learn from mistakes. The whole get over it and try to adapt. That's kind of it. It's that you're not having a bad life.
Yeah.
And there are struggles. And worst case, like if you get to a point where you feel like there's nothing left, go on an adventure.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I got dumped by that girl in Montana. It would have been easy to jump off a building, but fuck it, I'm going to Coronado. I actually ran into her. I ran into her at a speech I was giving. I ran into a speech. She was there, that girl that dumped me.
No way.
And it's fine, whatever's funny, but I said, in a weird way, you're kind of responsible for Bin
this
Laden dying.
Right? Did you trip her out?
Oh, it's funny. Yeah, just funny. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, well, what's coming up? What's next for you? Where can people follow you, and what's going on for Rob?
I have a website, robertjoneal.com. And that's where you can find out all this stuff. We've got a couple different things. We got the apparel stuff that we're selling. We call it Fix Yourself, because everyone's their own common denominator. But if we all fix ourselves, we can do better.
Huge thing.
Yeah, and that's all that can be found at robertjoneal.com. I have rjoapparel.com. The paperback for The Operator just came out.
Oh, congratulations, by the way, on that.
We're happy about that.
I got a funny story too, dude. And
by the way, I need to say this. I never called myself The Operator. The book is about the life of the operator. I kind of realized as that was published, I'm like, oh,
this one's gonna sting.
I keep see, you're all gonna fail eventually. So I'll just get over it.
No,
because my book too is it's not about the Bin Laden raid. That's in there, but it's about the guy, the kid that you met from Butte, Montana, that can't swim, that with a positive attitude and great mentors, by the way, because you were there the day I showed up.
Yeah.
If you just keep moving forward step by step, you end up at places like Dev Group. You end up on some of the missions. You end up like 1 minute you're in your 4-year-old daughter's preschool classroom. 15 hours and 46 minutes later, you're in the Indian Ocean. Then you watch your buddies rescue Captain Phillips.
Yeah.
You're in Bin Laden's house. I was on the base when Bo Bergdahl walked off.
No way.
On the base. We tried to rescue him 19 times. I had an Army guy tell me one time, he's like, you're kind of like the Forrest Gump of special warfare, only you're not good looking and you can't run as fast. Like, what the fuck was that?
That was a low blow.
But no, so it's called The Operator because this is the life of the operator.
Right.
And everyone's got the issues they have, the shit they go through, the friends they lose. And this is the guy that can't afford his own, he can barely afford his own mortgage and he's mowing his own lawn. And then he gets called to go do this stuff.
Yeah.
And that's the life of the operator.
That's who they trust that with, right? That's the perfect way of looking at it. They wouldn't.
Yeah.
It's not the guy with the degrees and
Nope.
all this. Man, that's the knuckle dragger from
Yeah,
Butte,
the operator,
Montana, and
the
the
looking
other
for the
guys.
operator. Hmm?
From
The guy
Texas.
from Texas.
Yeah.
That's
All
another
over.
great story too. Was the first guy I ever met from Texas was in Bud's, and he was my first roommate, one of my first roommates. And I said, hey, I'm Rob. He goes, hey, I'm Wade. And I said, where are you from, Wade? And he goes, I'm from Texas. I said, all right. He goes, where are you from? I said, I'm from Montana. He goes, Montana. What part of Texas is that? Damn shame he didn't make it.
Yeah,
Great
Wade,
answer.
I remember Wade. He wasn't very sharp.
Yeah, he
dude.
wasn't.
He was not
I
fired.
think he legitimately thought Montana was part of Texas.
I think he did, dude.
It's not.
Wait,
Took me a
what?
while to go there to fix that.
Awesome. Well, Rob, brother,
Yeah.
from the bottom of my heart, man, I just, I've been waiting a long time. Thank you for coming on the show, first
Absolutely.
of all.
This has been
Being
great.
part of our 100th show.
100th show, that's like I was saying, I was
100th
holding
show.
out.
Yeah, that's right. And just so our listeners know, I asked Rob like 100 times, and he said, "Nope, it's got to be a big show."
And just for the record, because some of us get heat for writing books, I was waiting for either the 100th show or Marcus's 6th book.
Just reminding him 100 times that it was coming up. And
Oh, dude. But for me, I often talk about those 7 guys, in that boat on that long day. And I couldn't be more proud of you. I couldn't be more proud to know you, what you've done in the
Isn't that crazy to think about?
No.
I remember when you said, one of the first nights, I remember you said, all right, it's going to be a long week. Let's get to know each other. And we just started telling stories
and
about
we
ourselves.
told stories the whole time. I'm going to tell remember when Wojo kept falling asleep?
Yes.
And finally Bing smacked him in the head with the paddle, dude. And then Bing took a dump off the front of the boat, dude. That was our hell week. man.
We treated Wojo like he was the only guy that fell asleep.
Oh my God, we all were out. But,
so funny.
yeah, but that was it. It's been such a privilege. And an
Thanks.
honor.
This has been great. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Seriously, awesome.
Brother, dude, all I kept thinking about, one is, holy shit, here is a kid from Butte, Montana that went from running away from his girlfriend, or just not running away, but changing his life out of getaway, out of that heartbreak, to the guy who shot Bin Laden. I'm thinking about that in my face. And then all of a sudden, I go to this bigger space in perspective that for me, what happened and all that changed the day 9/11 when it happened. And I was, working in Pakistan near that time, around that time, and what happened then, and the poignance of that moment in history for all of us and for America itself, the closure that exists for a nation.
I think war is kind of the only time, and the victory of war is the only time when everybody in the country is happy about one thing. In a football game, even people are going against each other, and this is one event that drew everybody together, especially after all those years. So yeah, you're right.
And you got a funny story about that, don't you?
Yeah, the other day I was up, Melly and I were up at the Boxing Hall of Fame induction. Jim Gray got inducted, and congratulations, sir. You earned it. Thank you for all the great memories, and you guys just all time. But we were sitting in the audience, and the president of Fox News and his wife were there, and somehow we started talking shop or whatnot, and a name got dropped. Long story short, Natalie, we wound up on that day,
right?
But I know the story from the operator side, right?
Yeah,
I'm hearing from the media side,
right?
And apparently his wife runs the show. She's the boss. I was like, hey, brother, I know exactly what you...
Yep.
Yeah, okay, we're going to get along famously. And she looks over and says, send Geraldo.
Right now.
Right now. Because you know Geraldo, boy.
Oh, yeah. He gets fired up.
Hey, man, that's the great thing about him. No matter what he does and whatever he's covering, it is what it is. But when he gets to cover an event that everybody's fired up, good on America kind of deal, it brings everybody together.
He's the guy, dude. He is the guy, man. You gotta admit, man, the guy's impassioned, and he's able to translate that passion on screen. And I think what we really saw in that moment was the passion of America, right? And, those scars of that day and are significant. And some of my favorite footage is watching Rob meet those people, right? People that lost their friends on 9/11 in New York City. In fact, my new girlfriend, her best friend lost her brother on that day in one of the Twin Towers, and some other people I know. And I remember the first time I got to see Rob when he came out of the shadows and the embraces of these people and what that meant, right? That, and it wasn't that it was Rob, and Rob is the first always to admit, hey, man, I was just lucky where it happened in the stack. It was sheer luck. It wasn't me. It was 1,000 people.
That's certainly very important to remember. The blood, sweat, tears, sacrifice by hundreds and thousands of other people that led to that moment. And Rob be the first one to tell you that.
He always says that. Anytime we ever talk about it, he always mentions that,
Well, I mean, we got hit, and people who were in the towers that fell, they had family members, and those family members had kin. And there's no way it doesn't bleed all the way down to the South, right? I mean, everyone was affected by that moment. Even if you weren't there, all the TVs were on it. And in our job description, we lived it. That was our life. That was that starting line, right?
And our deaths.
We've all lived through, even as time progressed, and we're still fighting in the wars, and we're keeping that part from the civilian populace so they can go on about their lives. They're still reeling it because we have to come home.
Right.
And when it's like our sports team won, we won.
America won in that moment.
Because no matter what direction the wars went, man, the one goal you could point to and say, this is what we definitely need to get done, is that one.
Yeah. 100%. I completely agree. And when you think about those moments of never quit, it really was profound, right? Wizard, you had literally hundreds of thousands of people, whether it was analysts, whether it was support staff, people that served in the chow halls, and every operator that went down that led to a little piece, every interrogation, everything. It was this crescendo moment for us emotionally that all came together in that one moment. And I think the significance of that is never to be lost. And I think, it's one of those great times in our nation's history that we can really feel vindicated and the scars of true evil that they impressed upon us.
Didn't matter how long it'd take, no matter where he was at, we're coming for you, man. You know, I'm talking about all that work, all the generations of fathers and sons that have come in to accomplish that one mission, to be the guys that were on that up, to be able to do that. That's pretty heavy. I mean,
Dude.
No matter what you look at it, because it's just, even if our kids didn't know anything about that war, that was our life, right? I mean, it really, it's like, that started it and ended right there. There was a big transition. It was like a weight lifted. It's like something changed. And it was like a good job, guys, man. Everybody who had anything to do with it, we did it. You know, we got it done.
Absolutely. And one of the beautiful aspects that the little nugget of something that really makes me feel good as a frogman was, is how Rob describes all of those guys were committed to not coming back. They didn't think they were coming back.
Yeah, one-way ride.
It was a one-way ride. And for me, that really, that demonstrates the depth of which people that are truly committed to this country and to what we represent are willing to go. And this goes all the way back to the Revolutionary War, when Washington crosses the Delaware with a bunch of barefooted farmers on Christmas Eve to go take on the Husseins and these mercenary fighters. They didn't give a shit. They didn't care if they weren't coming back. So the lineage of that and that commitment, it just makes me so proud, not only to be a SEAL, but it makes me incredibly proud to be an American and what we have in this country. So,
amen.
I would like to first thank, Rob, every single one of the guys that was on that op. I want to thank that woman who never quit on finding out where he was. I want to thank all the people that supported every time that went up to that. I want to thank every operator that ever participated in that war. I want to thank everybody that had any contribution to helping those operators do their mission, do their job. Man, thank you for allowing that to happen. I want to thank our listeners, and hopefully in this 100th show, dude.
100.
Bro, 100. Can you believe it, dude? It's nuts, man. I mean, it really hits you hard. I mean, we're podcasters and we're bringing messages like Rob, and we've done it 100 times, and we're going to continue that mission. We're going to keep doing it because our mission now is to serve you all who listen over and over, you all who are struggling to try and find your never quit mindset, to try and find your never quit spirit. This is why we're doing it. So thank you. I want to thank God. I want to thank Christ. I want to thank my family. And lastly, I want to thank you too. In all honesty, I used to think that carrying that gun and wearing that bird was the greatest thing I was ever going to do with my life. But doing this show with you both and being able to deliver what we're delivering to millions of human beings every week, it has transformed me in my outlook and how blessed I am and what I do for a living. So thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I want to say thanks to you too as well. This has certainly been a transformative experience for me and a real sea change, if you will, in how I evaluate the purpose, impact in my life. So
I love
thanks,
it.
fellas.
Yeah, good job to the crew who got that done. Man, that's just the coolest damn story. That's an immortal frogman tale, and it's just legendary. And you guys earned every piece of that. And ultimately, when we go out and do our business, man, the American people don't have a face to a target. Matter of fact, they don't have any idea about it. But they absolutely knew we were chasing that dude 24/7. There was always an op going down to get that joker. So congratulations to our generation, Americans. We got we got hit and went down, and we stayed in the fight, and we finished it. Finished it. Good job, X-Men. I mean, dog, it's just been a damn honor to walk among you. It's really something to see what our generation, when we got thrown into the breach. It's been something. Almost 20 years. I mean, I had mine 22 for you, right? God dang. And we were talking. You want to look at a photograph that really take you back in time and blow your mind? Go to the quarterdeck at the Buzz Combine and look at our grad pics. To see that to what it is now. And it's, yeah, man, it's something, right? So, God bless America. Right? I'm out.